Hi, folks. Nick Tockert here with Art Time with Nick. But more importantly, we're joined by BlueTeddyNarrations. She has volunteered and asked to have a critique done on some of her works. So we've set up a little file to show you, and we're going to cut right into that. So give me just a second to switch here, because people want to see the cartoon version of me. They don't want to see my silly face, and we're going to go full cinema just because it gives us a little more wiggle room on screen. Uh, uh, do you like to go by Blue or Blue Teddy? How do you like to be referred to?
I'm not really picky. I think most people tend to just call me Blue, but either's fine.
That's fine. It just occurred to me, names that we call ourselves are so they're so personal, and they're so it's a real joy to be able to choose your own name, I think. So when
Yeah.
people pick a handle, it can be very, very deeply personal. Before we get into really deep diving your really neat art, can you tell folks how long you've been drawing, what you do in the field, etc.?
Sure. I've been drawing, I think, coming up on 4 years now. Obviously, a little bit of playing around when I was younger and stuff like that as well.
Right.
But as far as deciding to actually, I'm going to draw, about 4 years. I've got my YouTube channel, which I don't use a whole lot currently, but that's sort of where I was reading fairy tales and such and drawing things to go along with them. I do portraits for people for tabletop games, and then I draw Smoke and Mirrors, which is a weekly web comic, and I'm working on trying to draw my own comics as well. So yeah.
Oh no, that's wonderful. Before we get any further, we were talking briefly about your about you feeling a little anxious about being on YouTube, and it instead of building you up, it was starting to make you more nervous. Are you familiar with the term the artist's dilemma?
I am not.
Okay. The artist's dilemma is this. It's sort of a tragedy, and it goes by a lot of names. But as artists, we grow through experience. So mechanically, we are always a little bit better at the end of a picture than we are when we first do it. So it will always look to us when you make an image like it's not as good as it should be, because you've learned a little, even if it's just a few, you're a gamer, it's a few experience points. You're a few experience points or a very, very small level higher than you were when you started. So that's going to always make you feel uneasy. And I really, when you said it was making you back out of YouTube, I thought that is just a tragedy. Because of the videos you've done, I've seen a goodly number, and I've enjoyed all of them because you have a wonderful presence. And I would hate that, not just such a YouTube isn't always the most wholesome place, but such a wholesome and such a pleasant, very comfortable person would feel they need to back away from it because it's hard on them. Now, while the emotions are totally justified, it saddens me. And I hope that maybe by the end of the show, I can get you to reconsider a little bit, because you are really, really quite good.
Yeah,
and I think with some very minor tweaking and a bit of, putting in the effort, you can level up to maybe closer to where you want to be. And part of when I look at when I'm dealing with somebody, and when you're critiquing art, sometimes you have to critique the artist, and that may mean you don't have enough confidence in what you can do. This is something I suffer from a lot. the fear of failure, and it limits me sometimes. So I have a feeling that that happens to you. So what we have here on screen, folks, and I'll zoom in a bit and pardon my clumsy mouse handling. Oh, and hi, Joe. Joe Buckman is saying, just dropping by, real quick to say, I got a few things going on this morning. That's okay, Joe. All my programs are made possible in part by a donation from Joe Buckman of Joe Buckman Technologies, who also makes apps with me. So it is always wonderful to hear from Joe. But is there an image you'd like to start with, or do you want an overall? How do you want me to come at discussing and critiquing your work, dear?
Honestly, yeah, it's up to you. I think overall feedback would be good.
All right. One, I really love, even here, there's a good diversity of things you are attempting. I like that. Now, are the comic pages? Oh, hello, Kat. We're joined by Kat Rothermel.
Morning, Kat.
Kat is a middle school art teacher professionally, and a wonderful artist and incredibly supportive individual. So if I make any mistakes, she'll be calling me on it real fast. But she says, I'm digging this critique and loving the artwork. So this is good, and this is good for Blue, because Blue needs the love.
Thank you very much.
See, I love what I'm seeing here because I see a lot of pieces. And what I mean by that, by just a glance. So we'll zoom in a bit. And guys, I am sorry for the slight quality of some of these images. She sent me high quality versions and my computer got really glitchy. So if there's any pixelization, that's my fault. But I've seen the real ones and Blue drew the real ones. So understand it will be much smoother than this. But the shading and the background is just incredible. Your work with the glass, did you use a brush for the raindrops?
No, I did those by hand.
Oh, that's what I wanted to hear. That level of detailing is phenomenal. And I didn't think you did, because if you were the type to use a cheater brush, and even I've dabbled in them, you would have done it for the smoke, and I can tell that that's hand-done smoke. But I love the...
I think I might have eventually, copy-pasted some of the little ones and stuff like that.
Oh!
It was a while ago.
If you're copying your own work, it's not cheating. That's fine. And Kat, this is Blue Teddy Narrations on YouTube and on Twitter. I'm hoping she will send me all her links, and I will I'll edit them into the description for this video. But
yeah, I should do that.
And yeah, see, this I love my computer, because anytime I dabble with the we don't need that. That was a picture I was drawing earlier. Anytime I dabble with the picture too much, it's going to pause and make me save. But the mood lighting and the background is phenomenal on this.
Thank you.
I see one fairly glaring issue with this one, and that is the proportion of this. And my mouse is visible on screen. I've got it as big as the system will let me run it. Your arm proportions are a little off, because the elbow should stop probably about here and angle in. It could be a little, it gets weird, especially if you're like a Clamp anime fan, because some of those proportions can get a little squiffy.
Yeah, no, I definitely I've been trying to figure out how much to fight the anime influence and how much to just let it be what it is. But
you know what? We'll talk about that, because the trick is consistency.
Right.
And that's going. There are two things I'm seeing right now about your well, three. I got three things that will greatly improve your work just from the images I see, and I'll talk about that. But I want to go by the most glaring things. Just a little bit of proportion, and that can easily be fixed. This is not bad. Some people would yell, but that doesn't do any good. This is something that is learning the rules. And if that's all I'm pulling out of this image, along with potential, and see, Johnny, Johnny Cage, let the weed flow through you. And I'm going to be drawing immediately after this, and I'll be drawing about some of this. I may even draw over some of your images if I think it's needed. But your issues, in part, I think, are a confidence thing, because this took you quite a while, didn't it?
Yes. And this one was when I was really concentrating on trying to make it look like me, because what I had at first, like, I don't know, it looked too much like, I guess, a Western comic style, and I just wasn't digging it at first.
I completely understand that, and I'm glad you're talking to me, because there are a lot of people, especially in the independent circles we travel in, that think the Western approach to comics is the right one, and they keep trying to make this divide between manga and manhwa and Western comics, and then like Gold Age comics. And they try to assign a value statement like, well, this is better. No, that's a style. When I'm teaching somebody to sword fight, I teach them the rules, and I teach them approaches, and I say, find your fight. I don't want you to fight like me, because your body works different, your mind works different. These are the rules that they'll help you find your fight and do what you do. And that same mentality transfers over to art. Because if we scroll right over here to this, and I don't know these characters, one of my great joys. Kat says, Nick, you're doing an amazing job. And she meant critiquing of some amazing artwork. Thank you. And I caught that. Autocorrect is rough. But I want to talk, because there's some things in here that make me very, very happy. And one is, did you select the color palette, or did you cut and paste from what they did, or just try to copy it?
So this is, for anyone who doesn't know, these characters are from Terror in the Trenches by Vaughn Art. So the basic color palette was what he already has, and I just moved them. I mean, it's a much more I don't know, I kind of went sort of pastel with the blue, and so I did switch things around.
I love those choices. Seriously, I love the pastel. I can tell you didn't copy, but I'm pretty sure you used reference, which that's fine. Using reference is not something anyone should feel bad about. But the composition, the page layout makes me happy, because people forget when you're using a horizontal layout like the screen is, the rule of thirds breaks it up, and it makes it look really what do you put important places at the intersection. And I'll explain that. Actually, I can take a second to explain that. What am I talking about, the rule of thirds? Okay, let me grab my stylus real quick. This is going to get sloppy, but that's fine. And I'm going to give myself a new layer so I don't risk messing anything up. Oh, I don't need you on at all. Go away, computer. Sorry, my phone's informing me that there's something going on, and I'm just going to turn it off. Okay, so real rough and fast, if it lets me do what I want to do. There we go. Rule of thirds. You have your image, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is your paper, and if you break it in thirds horizontally, and you break it in thirds horizontally and vertically. It's broken up. You tend to want to put interesting points of interest at these vertices. Now, most people see that. That's good film theory. That's good film composition. But what a lot of people forget is that if you're using a vertical format, the same rule applies. The eye likes this. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, if I were to do a very, very, very sloppy gesture sketch, and I'll zoom in so you see what I'm doing. I only had a glance, so forgive me if it's not, spot on, but look at the positioning you used. So if we go here, we zoom back up, and we're gonna get into the comic panels a bit. But look at that. Put the rule of thirds guidelines, and actually I can just go, and no, Nick, you can't even draw a straight line. Not today. Look what just happened.
Yeah.
Right here, center mass there, the biggest part of his arm. All of this is rule of thirds. That's beautiful. This composition makes me happy. It also leaves lots of room to put, then it happened, or whatever, As somebody who has to deal with lettering, look at all the happy spaces you can throw lettering block boxes on here, so without really damaging the consistency of the image. So from a paneling, this makes me happy. Okay, that's good. And see, when I said I critique your art, I bet you're expecting me to only talk about the negative things. That's the difference between critique and criticizing. Oh, and Grant Lanker. Hi, Grant. Grant does Beowulf. Really neat comment.
Morning, Grant.
This may be robotic Ash from Evil Dead. Just kidding. Oh, it's really cool. Cat's scooting off. I'll chime in and say hello. Keeping on. Absolutely, darling. And guys, you can always catch this in the rerun. But so this makes me very happy, because that means whether you did it or not, your eye. Because again, let's come over. Let's check, because I think I've noticed something. Again, center mass. You see that? You also here have a nice traditional L format. So the main comp is also in a nice L. We like that. That's just one of those things that visually makes people happy. So that's important. Now let's get over here, because well, actually, we'll take a short stop here. Very anime, right?
Yeah, definitely.
You have a similar problem in that no, because that's very close to the natural waist on her. So her elbows, if she were sitting down, would stop again about here on her. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Your proportions are a lot more comfortable here. The knee looks good. I love this dress design, by the way. This is just ornate and absolutely gorgeous. I like that you have the fabric flow lines, although we're going to talk about that just a bit, because adding the movement of the flow lines down here really does improve the image. It keeps it from being static. But we need to work a little bit more on your pinch points. And so we can do that right now. Let's do that. And again, I'm going to draw all over your picture, because that's kind of how things go. You have the idea, and it's hard with a dress that's this form fitting. I do love how elasticized fabric has been developed in most fantasy cultures. But, they may not have internal combustion engines or firearms, but they're going to have spandex anyhow. But the fact that it transitions from uh, very form fitting to looser could and has been accomplished through tailoring. I'm something of a medieval recreationist. But what I would say is think about where it's tightest on our body and keep your flow lines, but flow lines start bunched up. And I'm having a very bad hand day, so I'm sorry if I'm a little shakier than I should be. But they start bunched up and then they tend to work out from the image. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, makes sense.
So if you think in terms of that, uh, and I can send you some references, that's going to greatly improve. This is nitpicking, by the way. You realize that, right? This is
nitpicking.
Well, that's the goal. The other things I'm seeing, and it's not as apparent because there's pixelization, but you might want to work on adding just a touch more shading and a little depth. Now you're getting away with it with this fabric because it's so it kind of looks like very light fabric. Nitpicking. Yep, Johnny. Nitpicking happens. Well, I could call this kind of show nitpicking if I wanted to. But and it's funny because if I scroll over here, and are these the same character or are they just very similar?
Yeah, they were different style attempts at the same character.
No. That is that means you kept the character language across style attempts. That's a good thing. That's a check mark. You want check marks. That's good. Her arms in this get a check mark. You want that. That's good stuff. I think feet can be tricky to draw, so you might want to do some reference of drawing shoes and feet, just a little bit here.
Yeah,
and that's not a shot. It's just a point that. Well, the trick is if you look at most American images, and I do it all the time. You look at my art, you'll see it. They crop it just above the knee,
mm-hmm.
And I think that has to do with paper sizing. Because while this isn't exactly I hit the wrong button. Why you know what? I have all this space I'm not using. There we go. But because we're used to thinking in terms of this sort of, it's not quite right, but this proportion of paper, we tend to cut off above the knee, so people don't pay attention. Watch AI does that all the time because it doesn't know any better. But getting to this right here, folks, this is like probably one of the most telling pictures that you have done. I adore this right here. Let's just give her a halo of glory for a moment, because this. Oh god, I'm rhapsodizing to the point I'm having trouble talking. The contouring and the skin color work is so refined. It is so. This face is better than what I can do usually. I love this. I love the way the hair looks, and you see how you're kind of following the hair rules so well. If you took almost the same approach to the fabric, you'd have similar effects. Their hair and fabric aren't as dissimilar as they seem, and this is so subtle and so Art Nouveau, which is my absolute kryptonite. Oh god, good Art Nouveau makes me feel like it makes me feel inferior. It just oofs me. I love this. This feels like, Samwise or Gimli seeing Galadriel. This is what I'm about. So we know I'm setting this right here as your peak. This is your peak color. Okay.
Okay.
This shows me, wow, you can do that with time. And zoomed out and faster, that's almost as good. Even pixelated and goofy from my scanning process. Because, we had technical issues. This is brilliant. It's a little simpler, but you still use the lighter red tones at the joints and places that have blood flow. The shading is very subtle, and that's a stylistic choice. And I can say that, not that you're afraid to shade, because whoops, that's not what I need. Up here, we saw what you can do with just full-on shading. This is just Shade City. I love this. I love the layers. I love the way you track the light. Look, the light goes through. It's darker here. It's brighter here. Oh, wait. The mask is actually in shadow from the thing. And then it gets brighter here. And look, you tracked it. Dimmer, brighter. Look at the arm. It's not just that you added the shading, but you tracked the light so well. Oh my gosh. That's just cake and ice cream. I love that. So that is glorious. This tells me that you can do panel composition like a queen. Right? Panel comp. This composition is delightful. Now, we're going to come over to the comic pages, which, in a bit of irony, I can see elements of, but there's hesitation.
For sure. I start to feel super. That's why I wanted to have you talk about them, because I start to feel super overwhelmed as soon as I'm trying to do it.
No, this is lack of confidence, because you were either rushed or both. And sometimes when you don't feel confident about art, you rush to get it done because you're scared of it. Right? Yeah. And this is me too. And it also tells me a little bit that proportions from angles. So proportions from front, but not as well from side.
Yeah, for sure.
And this is the part where I have to be mildly, negative is the right word, but I do have to do the critiquing. But, so it's like, these trees are a stylistic choice, but I've seen already that you can do much more detailed work, and that you understand background and lighting. That being said, look, that L I talked about, look what's right there. Let's look at our 4 dots. This doesn't have a lot intersecting there, but it does have, and if I can do it right, the spiral in. So it pulls the image. The composition is there. I would I actually like the trees. I like the trees. Were I to fix it, I would probably add something to indicate one more layer back. Okay?
Okay.
Because they're so hollow, even if it was just fill shaded gray.
Right. Well, yeah, and I mean this is all sketch, so it was
right. And this is really that I would love to see you take your time and redo these pages, and use these as sketch references.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I think you can really improve from what you did here. You just rushed yourself quite a bit. Because, okay, the let me see this now. Now I have too much doodles on there, so give me just a second. Because I don't think you need. Where's my big old eraser? Give me a big old eraser. Yeah, that's a big old eraser. Sure. Honking eraser here. I need a big old eraser. Sure, just black out the whole page, Nick. Jeez. Anyway, back here. Going back to this. You have a decent panel flow. The raise here is a little chunky with it being bigger. I would almost, if I were playing with the panel flow, take this hand and move it up. So, yeah, while you're critiquing, Nick, hit the stupid button on the side of your pen to get rid of the color, because, you know. Because if you move this one up just a bit, then it would much more naturally, you see how it flows down?
Yeah.
But that's just reading. And is this a separate panel? Yes, this is a separate panel. That might do better elevated and insetted. You see?
Oh, okay, yeah. I see what you mean. So not on the corner like that.
Yeah, because fully bended with that corner kind of gets... It almost looks like he's behind a sign or something, you know?
Gotcha.
But that's... Again, this is minor tweaks. So I love this panel. I love the storytelling. This is bread and butter. This is cake and ice cream. I love. This is absolutely my jam. The onomatopoeia, or what I think that's what they're called, where it's weaving through the image. That just that gives an extra layer of depth. You put so much work in these little background houses. I love these little background houses. I love that you did the little tutor supports, and I'm just drawing these because it makes me happy. So much work, and it's not showing up. I would say if you're going to do a cluster of buildings, you might consider doing it from a one-point perspective. So some perspective will add the depth so that these two don't look like they're flat.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you one other major thing I've seen all the way through that will really empower you. And it's ironic because looking at this page, when you are nervous, you do it. And that is your line weights. So let me get over here and get a place to work on this. So all your stuff is very light and very ethereal, which is great. But when you are putting things both in a setting, like here, what you did is essentially you did a tint. You lowered the opacity. You drew lighter. If you want the a little bit more 3D on your very things that are closer to the camera, for lack of a better word, point of view, if you darken them up a bit, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something else. Give me a second. Yeah. You could have used the honking eraser. Yeah, but then I'd honk and erase everything. let me just try and do a little bit of mimicry. Just a bit. This is going to be overkill, but I think it'll prove my point. If I take and I draw and I darken the edge of this tree right here, And all I'm doing is darkening this trees. I'm using a heavier line weight, and it's already taller, and I love how it goes off the frame. I love things that break off the frame, but because this has the if this were a moving camera, and that's one thing I find helps a lot when I'm dealing with. Did I do it again? Of course I did. You see, my gear is smarter than I am every once in a while. But if you add a heavier line weight to the things that are really up close, and possibly your frames, I would, even if you have room in the bleed, with this Once Upon a Time, pop that out.
Yeah.
Yep. Has to be negative. Yep. And the oval is a lake, right? Yep. Again, foreshortening a little bit on the lake.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was having trouble with the. I was like, how do you do the top of water in perspective?
Well, part of the trick is the shape. You don't want if you're drawing a lake. Okay. So when people think of a lake, they think of, I'll get a lake shape from above, right? And you got your beaches. It's a map. But when you draw it from the side, it becomes very shallow. Let me round that off so it actually looks like the same dang lake. And with a little bit of tweak. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So water usually is tracked. The other thing is, and this is way too big a pencil for what I'm trying, lightly adding a couple ripple lines will give you more of the water shenanigans. But by playing with your line weight in the comic layout when you're establishing foreground and background, because this is basically a set piece. You've got, let me get a little more space on what I'm doing. I just need something to doodle on. Here we go. And I don't need, how big is my stupid pen? Wow, it's at 7. Okay, I am zoomed in. Anyhow, we'll go down to make life easier. Alrighty, we've got our frame. Nick, it's so sloppy. Yes. Why are you drawing so small? I don't know. And darker. And I love the reaching. See, the actual layout of it has a bit of intimidation. It makes it feel like the woods aren't necessarily the safest place to be.
Good.
Exactly. By the reaching gnarling of the bushes. So then you have the mid ground, which you do your normal line weight with, and then your faint background. A lot of verticality. The problem is with that, without adding either some underbrush or shading behind, it feels like this area is the open part of the woods. So you need to remember that our boy Splashy McSplasherson, who I know nothing about other than I want to say there were 3 or 4 rocks and some stuff. Sorry, I'm drawing from quick memory, which is a thing. Heaven help me. But if you shape the water a little more irregularly, and you're going to get that feeling of transition as you zoom in. But I see, the other thing about line weight is either you're going to because this is a picture where line weight has a neat effect, because not having it gives it the that very kind of clean with the pastel. It's flat, but in a good way. And if you wanted to change that, because this is a great image for you to play with. So again, I don't think you need all this gobbledygook in that. I think you get what made that image really awesome. So out comes the honking eraser, because I'm going to draw something else on it. Okay. Okay, let's bring back my pen. If, say, you had this image and you wanted it to pop a different way, there are a couple things I would say. Because this image is 3D. Yay. These images, this is fairly 3D. She's much, much flatter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this guy is a lot flatter. And this is not saying you have to do it, because sometimes flat is what you want. But, and I'm going to butcher this part. Actually, I'm going to ignore that part. If I come through here, and again, I'm just speed doodling here, and I give a darker line weight just to the outside. Now, please don't make this an everything rule, because I love your ethereal lines. I just want you to play with this a little bit. And what we're playing with is the silhouette. And good character design is almost first and foremost all about the silhouette. That's why Disney has a patent on the Mickey Mouse ear 3's circle shape. So you see how instantly it's popping?
Yeah.
That is something you have in your arsenal. I love the flatness, and I would love, again, if we're just playing, and this is literally right now, I'm actually taking the excuse to play with somebody else's art because it's fun for me. That's when I find neat things happen. So let's grab this. Let's grab a nice shade of gray, and I'm actually going to throw another layer on here because I think most of what I need to cover has been covered. I'll do a wrap up on that this part of it. But whoa, I don't need the eraser of doom. I need my sprayer. Okay. I know what happened. I was doing landscaping again. That's what you saw was my Bob Ross sprayer of background. I need the sky right now on screen. But that's too light a gray. Let's get a darker gray then. Is this multiply? Oh, no, it's not. It's normal. Multiply tool. Yes. Now, if I take this and just give it a middle shade so that it has edge lighting, I'm going to do this. All I'm doing here is showing you some literally shady tricks. But we do this, and I know that you know how to do this because you've done it on other parts, but your tools aren't synergizing yet. We'll do this, and we'll just do this. Look how ominous this character becomes with just... Let me get rid of this thing. Go, just squeeze your little space by not closing up things, Nick. That's what they want to see. But you see the difference?
Yeah.
Now, all that said, I love the flat version you did. And I like the flat version a bit better, especially in this piece, because it fit the theme. But it gave me room to let you play with tools. So, let's talk about, let's see. Let's see how much space I have to play with over here. Okay, cool. What I've seen overall. And I'm on the eraser. Okay. BTN, because I'm not writing Blue Teddy narrations. That's a whole lot of fun to write. Better than you realize.
Oh, thank you.
Use tools together. What do I mean by use tools together? Okay. Pan back out. If you take the background of this piece, I need another color because that's too. I'm going to give me a really obnoxious color because we're getting to the point where it's important. Really? Are you going to? Oh, because I'm still on. I know what happened. Layer error. I was on a multiply layer. That's why nothing was showing up. Okay. Background. This is golden here. Skin expression. Beautiful, right? Over here, your proportions are best. And then here you controlled your layout so well. So it's not that you need new skills, because that's not the quest I need. And you should let me come over here. What you need. Okay, you need proportion and perspectives. And play with line weight. I'm not saying keep it, because I probably just misspelled weight. I almost always flip that up. That's okay. Captain Dyslexia is a nickname for a reason. But you play with your perspectives. So like 1 point perspectives. And again, I saw you do it. That is what's mildly maddening to me. I don't mean that badly. But what I'm trying to do is keep you from being the talented / gifted kid who didn't get the support they needed as soon as they got out doing things and kind of crumble and turn into a jaded old grumpy person like me. Because look, you started with just standard 3D perspective here. Way out where no one's going to see it, so that if you goofed up, it's okay. That is imposter syndrome lying to you, darling. If you had taken this little building here and possibly pulled it so that you could see back of it, or one of these so that you could see, play with the angle. I mean, let alone going the whole hard of the pre-work of first-person perspective, single perspective or double perspective. But it looked like you went more for single perspective. Play with, and just play. And I mean that. I'm not being sarcastic. I mean, use the word play. Open up a screen, pick a time where you're not doing it. You are not arting for work. You are not drawing. You're arting for play and education. And just be like, okay, I need to work on perspectives. Fine. I want to draw houses or whatever. I'm going to put my perspective and I'm going to flat draw the front of the houses. Yay. I can draw. Don't worry. When I'm drawing my other stuff and I'm not in teacher mode, it'll be a little better. Teacher mode takes all my power. Boom, boom, boom. Guidelines. Real lines. Now, perspective like this instantly draws the eye. That's why, Suddenly, this town ain't big enough for the two of us. Only one stick figure cowboy can live. Okay, and now that I've done that, it needs a little stop, shop signs and stuff. But we'll put a trough for somebody to fall in. But playing with that is going to help you with your, pull people in to make your stuff more dynamic. So, let's go back here and let's look at this. This is a dynamic pose. There's a lot going on. I think she's bent like that. If I'm fixing the arm, but this still is a very. There's a lot that feels emotional. This is an incredibly static pose, which is fine because this is end art. This is reference. A lot of times when I'm doing one of these, you get the classic L pose, which shoulders. I'm way off proportion here. Okay, they're holding a sword. To just see what the fabric does. But yours is out of the way. I just had to play. But this is so this guy here. Let's zoom in on him. Not bad. This is a classic pose, and yeah, it's blurred. That's my fault, not hers. Let's look at it. It bunches a little bit, but it's not bad. It's very much. It looks like the superhero landing, but I don't know if I would have used that for him. I assume he climbed out of the lake because of the splash.
Right.
I probably would have had him more. And this is just again. Now we're really nitpicking, but that body language doesn't necessarily just have climbed out of the lake. So if you're gonna do something like that. And yes, my world famous patented. You want to learn to sword fight from stick figures. I love actually I love the arm the coughing into the arm kind of thing. I kind of like that. But put his back end still in the lake. This feels like it needs a transition frame almost.
Yeah.
But with the pacing, it's not there. So make this more of a transition frame. And then maybe in the next one it shows him, standing and, being defiant about the son of a whatever that put him in the lake. I'm gonna get you, bad guy. But it's a great pose. It just could be tweaked. A little bit of tweak. So what do we do? Let's see. What do we do to? Because you gotta get some homework out of this whole shenanigan, or you haven't really learned. You got pick your proportions from whatever style, and there are a lot of great anime proportion books out there, and there are a lot of YouTube channels you can find. Oh, Johnny's been talking, and I just missed it because I was doing stuff. Draw a square from the vanishing point like you want. Drawing the building, draw the lake inside the square. That's a good. And then erase the square.
Yeah.
So I like that. So he's saying draw the square, pull it off, put the lake. That's good. That's solid advice. And Johnny's an incredible artist in many, many ways, far better than I am. I'm a good teacher, and if you want to do those who can do and those who can't teach. But what I'm going to do, because I'm here and I've done all this, I will save this whole thing as a BTN critique. I can spell. And I'm going to put that as just a ping because that usually works well. And I'll send that to you. Yes, I know it's going to lose the layer format. Don't worry about it. And then because it's mildly hilarious, I will export the time lapse. which I don't know if it will show the zooms or not, but it will show me doodling all over your image. And, you'll get to slow down and see what zoom back and forth in this video, so you can better.
Robot in a bit. I think the computer's struggling with the time lapse.
Sorry, it looks wet. Okay. Oh, that's bad, right? Okay, that should be better. I put out too much for it to be happy. It does not like encoding the time lapse. That's part of the reason I leave the music on, because the music will stop for me when I robot. So I usually know to shut up for a second when the music stops. But are you happy with this discussion? Do you have any questions or comments or anything that you want to?
No, for sure. I'm really happy with it. I got a page of notes over here.
Awesome, because if you tweak your proportions, your posing, and a little bit of line weight, and just take all these tools that you have and put them together into a single piece, it will look like you just got multiple years of work in a very short time. And I see no reason why you can't advance significantly in this field. That being said, you have put up with me, and you have two choices. I still have to draw the thumbnails that I'll use in my for the rest of the week for my never mind the furthermore. So, as guest and as someone who suffered, what would you like to see me draw? Or if this is taking too much of your time and you need to go, you're free to go at any point. But yeah, I like the art challenges, art prompt side of things. And yes, Nick bought blah 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 requesting more RAM always. But yeah, what would you like to see me draw?
I'm trying to think if there's anything we haven't really seen you. What about something with feathered wings? It doesn't have to be a bird, but just anything with feathered wings.
Oh, see, thank you, because I absolutely suck at feathered wings. I mean, they're no, and see, I like to fail on screen. And do you know why I like to fail on screen? Because if I'm going to fail or have difficulty, I'm going to have difficulty at any point. Okay, let me get a kind of. Oh, okay, it's a dude. I don't draw a lot of dudes. That's I need to work on that. I just got annoyed because everybody drew like super hyper masculine dudes, and this guy's already got some reacher energy, but it's like, Nick, I thought you were drawing feathers. Give me a second. I'm a geek, and if I'm drawing feathers, let's give him. Oh yeah, because if there's one thing I've learned about the depiction of the supernatural characters in the world. Let me zoom in so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Thank you. That eye's too low. It's that they have access wherever they're from to really great hair product. Right? Have you ever noticed that they always have amazing hair? Now,
Yes.
He has to have kind of a tousled, windblown look, because that's kind of his time. His eyes are too big. They look like nice guy eyes. Okay, there we go. We can work with that. And good jaw. Trust the nose a little bit. Angels also have to have like great lips. It's just one of those rules. And then, like, how dare guys have that good of eyelashes? Isn't it sickening? Isn't it sickening? Like, Nick, you're supposed to be drawing wings. You're delaying it. No, I'm not. I'm drawing them in my head first. And I needed to buy time. And normally I would draw a lady, but I realized part of what I haven't been doing enough is practicing on men, and I want to get better with drawing dudes. So I've drawn a windblown, kind of young man. He looks a little too young man-y. Let me see what we can do about that. Look, it's Rob Liefeld. What? No, I'm kidding. He got, well, and there's a reason I'm drawing, I'm focusing. I cannot stand scrawny angels, because whenever people draw angels, and this is super static posing right now. I mean, like, this is almost painfully static, but that's okay. I'm letting myself get away with it because, dang, okay, old boy's got some forearms. Yep, I know what's going on. When in doubt, when you don't know what someone is doing, you just simply have them. The hand is. Look, it's AI. 15 fingers. No. I'll zoom in.
I saw people posting joke images on Instagram. They were literally just posting hands. They were like, "Here's my proof that I don't use AI art."
Yeah, my hands may suck, but at least they're humanish design. And we'll do this, and he's got his coffee. So now he's staring out a window or whatever. But feathered wings, especially all wings have to have a superstructure, right? So when I'm drawing them, I have to think in terms of the superstructure. Now, if I stopped and I went here.
Do you want me to read the chat for you while you're drawing?
Oh, could you? That would be helpful. I didn't realize the chat was going because I get kind of pulled into this. But yes.
Let's see. I think we
stopped here.
When you were roboting, Johnny said Nick bought 404 requesting RAM.
Yes, that happens, but we're getting better now. Okay. Wow, I have a whole bunch. You know what? I appreciate the effort, but I got behind, so I'll knock it out. I'm a pro. That's Glenn. Glenn B. Fleming. Nick, Glenn, how are you doing? I'm just trying to help the next generation get a little better and doing some art and taking art prompts and challenges. It's a great time. And Johnny goes, "Why are you assuming the starting scribble's gender?" Because I am an artistic pantser. Just like when I sit down to write a book, I don't usually know where it's going. The thing tells me as it happens. And I'm drawing the same thing since yesterday, only the character's face to the right. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Great minds think alike. And we're joined by Jody McPhee, who I did a video without him live, and I sent it to him in this format. And he let me make it public last night. So it went last night. You can check that out. Okay, so getting back to our friend. Yeah, if you catch it and I'm behind, you just let me know, and that'll make life a lot easier. Thank you. But when I look at the rough structure, I almost always cheat, and I throw dragonic/demon wings. So unfortunately, our angel has fallen for a moment, but that's okay. We're going to redeem him. Don't worry. Because we've looked at the structure, and what we have to do is we have to have the leading feathers on the top. And it's going to be kind of sloppy because, like I said, I kind of stink at this. But I need to practice, so there we go. Now, one thing you have to remember for feathers to make sense is feathers evolved from scales. So when you're figuring out how they lay, at least functionally, they often have a scaled approach. You have the short feathers, and then you have these longer midline feathers that are close to the body. And you see how I'm kind of anchoring, and again, this is just really fast, anchoring them into the center of, like if I was doing a scale. Okay? And each time I'm making them just a bit bigger. And they're still anchored off of the points, even though the shape is sort of radiating out. So the gaps will get bigger the farther they go. That's fine. Now, this is not the optimum feather shape, but it is good enough for, government work, and we're still on the sketch layer. You're going to keep me busy for this one. I don't feel bad. Are you the one who asked me to draw Centaur last time? Thank you. You see, you are like my favorite prompt person right now because you innately ask me things that I either don't do enough of or I radiantly suck at. And the sad thing is the only way to get better at something is to suck at it first. Now, at about the first big joint here, you stop adding the longer feathers, because what you're building up to are the true flight feathers. These big, I believe they're called pinions. And you angle them out. And like I said, this is the fast, ugly version. This is my weakness, and I love it because that means I'm forced to face it. And they get mine tend to get leaf-like. What I would do if I were doing this not live and I knew I had room, I'd bring up reference of bird feather of birds and look at how they work. But then I add a little bit of the line depth that goes all the way across each layer, kind of slightly arcing and filling in. And it gives it that sense of they're individual, but they are connected. Almost like waves.
Johnny's trying not to make bad jokes.
I see that. He's usually pretty civil on my morning shows, and I respect that because, I try, especially on this one, to keep it as, this is where I don't have to worry about, I don't have to get flack for being wholesome. So this is all still rough sketchy. We get to detail it. Drawing feathers themselves is kind of weird, but we probably should talk about that. And again, feathers and leaves work together real well in the mind. So if you can draw a leaf, so you take a nice leaf shape, right? This is a nice leaf shape, a kind of long knife bladey leaf. And you add some fuzz at the top. Darken the center vein. So you line it and radiate out. You get a decent feather. If you add the odd V where some of the splines are missing, or it's just gapped, that's how you get a good feather. Probably should have put that dude there. Well, let's just try that for a second. Wink. Wink. Let's grab him. Put that there. Okay. Where is my expand contract? I thought there was a nice flip tool. Oh, we'll go scale and rotate and see if I can. Just do. Beautiful. And this is me forcing myself to get used to the digital rules and moving things around on the page, because that's another thing I'm kind of weak at. So we'll do that, because now it looks like it fell off. And that also, using one of these is another delightful cheat. No, I want a little more rotation on that, since rotation is allowed. Let's try that. Lay him down. Cool. Okay. And deselect.
That's right. I've been trying more stuff traditionally, but I just layouts for me still have to be digital because I started with the ability to move stuff around and like easily, and not having that is just like it feels like cutting off a hand or something. Like it's
Oh
that
no,
dramatic.
no, that's the challenge of it. You see, we'll do no.
Like I can live without Control Z or whatever, but not without the transform tool.
And see, because I'm just finally getting used to thinking in terms of the transform tool, I also just realized something. For decency, I probably should put some clothes on my morning angel here.
Well, angels are supposed to be like genderless or whatever, right? So he's just like a Ken doll anyway.
Hey, yeah, that
Does
depends
that
on
logic not follow?
Well, remember that I do. I work with Luke Stone, who
True.
does hybrids, and it's literally about angels having procreated with humanity in the past. Oh,
True.
neat cheater. Get the rough outline of the top of the wing because it's scaled. You probably won't see it. Add some shading. Oops, second wing's done. But now, the other great thing about using this, because I don't need. Oh, and Joe saying hi to. Saying good point, Blue Teddy. But I don't need to do the base layer. I like to whenever possible for two distinct reasons. One, it frees me up to do different things, and if I like it, I can always transform the base layer. And two, you're drawing it twice. Yes, that means I'm getting twice the practice at this image. And as soon as I say that, my brain's like, Nick, why are you making yourself suffer? Why are you making yourself suffer? Because I have drawn different bird wings and angel wings in the past. It's been a long time. I actually designed a tattoo for a deceased friend of mine. And the girl on it, because of course it was a girl, had one angel wing and one devil wing. And I was very proud of that angel wing. So I don't do much tattoo designs anymore. I haven't had much call for it. Part of it is because I know one of the best tattooists in the state, in my opinion. And it's like, I have to be humble enough to go, what do you want? Unless it's very much in my bailiwick. See, this is where it gets fun. Because remember how I talked about how to draw the feathers? Mm-hmm. Now you start having to put a little bit of feather detail onto every feather. You get to spend a lot of time. So guys, if you've been watching, we're past an hour and I haven't mentioned it. Please stop, stretch, pop your back, take a big deep breath, do a posture check, because doing art for long periods of time I tend to get hunched over at a slight angle. And then when I get up, I'm like, oh my God. So I don't want that to happen to you. So please do posture checks.
Speaking of, I will be right back. I'm going to go grab some more water.
Oh, of course. Whatever you need to do. Thank you for letting me know. But, well, when she gets back, I'll have go. It really does still hit me. You have a nice female voice in the room. And I lose my ability to rationally speak, because of course I do. Yeah, I'll make that part a bit longer. That part a bit longer. Saving. We done? Okay, cool. And this is just a layer. The other thing is, when I'm inking my own stuff, I am notorious, folks, for making decisions that, I really don't like what I did. So I'll just diddle with it. And Hybrids is based from the Book of Enoch. Oh yes, heavily. Luke enjoys, we'll say, biblical, non-canon biblical material. I don't think he preaches it, but I do think he finds it very interesting. And not genderless, being both basic gender and none at the same time. Yeah, it gets real complex real fast. Posture check. I thought it was imposture check about to slip out. Bruh. Bruh what? Bruh what? Are you bruh-ing him or bruh-ing me? What requires a bruh? Just get into the groove. Feel the groove. Feel it flow through you. All is well in the groove. I think Blue Teddy likes to assign me things that are difficult.
I got back just in time for that. Yeah, that's more fun though, right?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure that I hadn't said something that required a bruh. But yeah,
The feathers are looking really nice, though.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to really see. This is one of those I'm working on, and I will apologize if my lines are a little shakier than normal. I rather severely hurt my wrist yesterday, and it's not quite at full performance. So I'm getting just a little bit of nerve feedback from that. But
it wasn't the chair beat down, was it?
No, I hurt myself before the chair beat down. I actually felt better after the chair beat down. So I think I just needed the catharsis of wailing on something, because
understandable.
Well, yeah, thank you. This might be a dumb question, Blue, but you obviously just use your icon and don't put your face on screen, which I understand. Believe it or not, I used to be a tremendous introvert. I started, I show my face mostly out of spite because that's the only thing that overpowers my introversion. But have you considered setting up like a VTuber? Because you have such a nice, just an amazing voice. And when you're drawing and you're doing your art, because I've watched your videos, it's really quite pleasant. And setting up even just a ping tuber like my little guy here, I want to do a series of animations on the next version so I can just switch my mood with by switching the overlay. That way I don't have to worry about learning new software.
Yeah, I mean, I have thought about it. I honestly am not that opposed to just using my face either. It's just right now, you know how it is, especially if you're attached to certain communities online.
Oh yes.
I have a family member that if someone were to take umbrage with that, I don't want to put them in a weird position. So
well, and that's why I was suggesting a VTuber approach,
right?
Because well, I'll just say I am not a CG and anything. Not that I have any problem with CG, but because I am militantly not anything. That way, I can go into any group and find good people.
Yeah,
That's
well, and I'm not really either, but I do mod on a couple channels that are, and the writer that I work with for Smoke and Mirrors is, so
right.
And to a lot of people that's enough, like I'm adjacent enough to go. So
I've had people give me flack because of Luke Stone's politics. Even people who know that I may not agree with them on a political level.
right.
But and we need to be able to talk about these things. We're all, believe it or not, this is what mature adults should sound like, even if people don't always condone or support our creative endeavors. But a civil discussion and being able to say, yes, I have friends who are politically, opposed to some things I agree with, or you know, are of different religions than I hold, or are of different gender norms or orientations than I have. And it should that's how people should be. We should all just be like, "Are you cool? Cool. Then you're cool with me."
Right.
There's no reason to judge on those things.
No, for sure. Because I mean, yeah, personally, I'm a fairly liberal individual myself, but yeah, I started hearing a lot more comments online that were just, very negative. Of if you fall on this side of the political spectrum, you're automatically evil no matter what, and that just made me kind of like feel like I needed to rebalance things a little bit, particularly in my own circles.
Oh, I fully understand that, and what's funny is I get it from both sides. At
Right.
what In the same conversation, I've been called a militant conservative and a rabid liberal because I go issue by issue. But that's the neat thing about art. You should be able to just kind of, let yourself be free. And art doesn't care about what the tax rate is, or what some government policy is, unless it's directly speaking to that. Art's just, I'm going to create something that matters to me, or something pretty that makes me happy, or expresses my sadness, whatever. But let me see. Chair beat down. No, the chair did not win the fight. Thank you very much. I got 14 at least. During the Historical Fencing Guild, I was asked I've been asked a while ago by a gentleman who plays and makes D&D related games. Is it BS that a martial, a fighting class, can do like four hits in one round, or so many hits per round? And what I said, and they said, I'd like to talk to HEMA people about that. And the D&D round is 6 seconds. So I I had planned to use my nice target downstairs, and we had to move some stuff. I set up a chair with a pillow taped to it, and I went to show how many times I could hit it with just a stick, basically, in 6 seconds. And it went down, and I kind of followed it down, and the result is somewhere between 14 and 16 in 6 seconds. So that makes sense for a high level martial class should be able to throw multiple shots. And while I am physically limited, I have been training and teaching people how to sword fight for 20 years, so that happens. But I think let's hide the blue lines and see how it really looks. Oh,
Are there any weird noises coming from my side?
No.
Okay, good. Sorry. Boyfriend started doing things in the shop which shares a wall, and wasn't sure if the mic was going to pick it up or not.
That's fine. And what else do we want? Does he need? Yeah, let's not be too lazy, Nick. You're doing a thing, and you're just talking about not cutting things short. So let's add a little bit of foreshortening, a little bit of 3-dimensional. Give him a table to have his coffee on. At first, I was going to go all angelic with the background. I'm like, no, we'll make it completely as normal as I can fathom because it's funnier. And we're light sketching, but that's okay. Because literally the only purpose for this art is doing an art challenge. And my art challenge is, Blue Teddy has another good idea. And
I love his swooshy hair so much.
Thank you. I really had fun, and that hold on. This is Halo Bucks coffee, and I'm gonna put a little this and give it a little cartoony wing, because like. The lore of this is just an angel who likes to come down and help people and get coffee, So he helped so much they named the coffee shop, after him without like adding his name, because I'm sure his name is like 15 letters long and ends in EAL. But I don't want to risk actually naming him after an actual angel and offending anyone, either religiously or have an angel knocking on my door like,
Well, you never know. Maybe they'd be like, "Oh, thank you for the portrait."
I hope so. Oh, I know what I forgot to ink. No, I did it. It's there. This is why. Let me fix that and that. The line weight can be an issue because I need to do something like this real quick to delineate it from that. What I'll do is I'll make, and yes, there is a very faint squeak coming through.
Yeah, that's a cat. Just a sec, sorry.
Oh no! You don't need to stop or worry unless it's actually a problem. I have cats too. My son sometimes barges in and says hello, or I'm not mean, or whatever's on his mind at the moment. Informal does not begin to describe how I am about most things. Yeah, that works. And no, it doesn't because I forgot something. Do you guys want me to shade? Yeah, I'm not even going to ask. You want me to shade this, and you want the full workup. Oh, you're slave drivers. As you can see, and you can tell by my tone, hopefully, that I am truly suffering. But let's just do this, and we'll go here.
I like that you described it as a squeaking sound too, because she does. She squeaks. She doesn't meow. She's been nicknamed Squick for that reason.
Oh. Let's do this. I'm just gonna get my airbrush happy on. And it sounds like she's dealing with Squick the Squeak, so we'll just quick do this.
Yeah, I think it might have entered the loud part of the day in my house, so I probably am going to go ahead and go. But
that is totally okay. I hope you had fun. I'll finish this up and I'll do 2 more. And you're more than welcome to hop in the chat. You're more than welcome to hang out. And
yeah, I'll hang out in the chat.
Really get bored and you want to hop on and talk, let me know. It was very nice having you on.
Thank you so much. It's very helpful.
Please put all your links up so people can find your stuff. I think
we'll do.
You should be wrenched. If you're not, I'll fix that when you're over on that side of the world.
All right. Thank you again. It was very nice of you to take the time to do this.
It truly was a pleasure, and I look forward to seeing the positive results of your work.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye. Now. Oh, well, I added another shade layer. No one's going to complain. Now we need to color our angel real quick, and then I will do a Bob Rossian picture just to sort of get back in the flow. Oh, wow. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. Let's just put that on multiply so I'm not losing my layers. I'm glad that looked that good. Okay. He's definitely wearing very neutral colored clothes, so he doesn't strike me as a showy dresser. So we'll just do this. And I'm using the airbrush because I'm going fast. The airbrush is fast. And we'll give him... Yeah, let's do that. And I'll probably give him yellow hair. You know, gold look. I'll see how gold looks. Because if I don't like it, I can always change it. Oh yeah, that fits. Freaking golden hair. Hair. Halo box. There we are. This is a nice fun one. And I'll get my good pen back. Go back to black. We'll sign off on this little bit of shenaniganry. Save as. What am I saving this as? Yes. Well said, Nick. There's normally a middle ground. Yep. A cool stick. Gotta love a cool stick. It's a good stick. You gave a chair a kick it, and that makes more sense. Yeah. 2023 is a little bit of my villain arc, and after all the times my background has attacked me, I did a preemptive counter-strike. And Nick whipping Nick into submission, shaking my hang head. Well, you know what? That's called discipline. That's what that is. That's discipline. Halo Bucks. We'll just call it Halo Bucks. And I'll save that as a ping because that's a nice big file. Blink. I know I'm going to lose a bunch of layer information to save. I don't care. And I'm going to export the time lapse and go up here. I need to loosen up my own my work. I'm aware of that. I need more dynamic. But you might draw that everything stuff. Quite a bit behind, but I hope you guys enjoyed that critique, and I will try to do more of things like that as we walk on. And please like, share, and subscribe to this channel for more better content. Yeah, I saw. I roboted hard for a second there. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can on that front. And you guys know what comes next because, you know, it has to. Oh, look, he typoed never mind the furthermore, because that never happens. And we'll take this. Do that so it's there. File. Save as. Need to check real quick. Oh, wait, no, I don't. I should be able just to go. Oh, no, because I turned it all down. S2 E. Oh no. We're still in S1 E, and I need to see what number it is. Oh, my phone's turned off. Well, that's bothersome. Anyway, E. We'll just do this Q1, and I'll sort it out later. That one. That works. Oh, because the stupid slash. I knew it could have the slash. Come on. Oh. Lamau. Okay, after confirming that none of the noises were emergencies, I've made it back to this side. Glad you are safe. Welcome back to the chat, Blue Teddy. Don't forget to put your links in the chat and loud. I kind of figured thumbnail central. It's what we do. Well, we'll call it that. And like I said, I'll sort that out later. Why is it not saving now? Let's go here. Downloads, maybe? Save. Okay, it will not let me. What? There it is. We're back in business. So if I go 83, now will you work? Yeah. Yes, I know. I'm not coming back to this for that. Man. You? Okay. And we are back to the second one. New comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, does Clip Studios have the action function? Save the text and do it all in one click if it does. Probably. I'm still very much learning Clip Studio. I only know the most rudimentary tools. It's okay to recycle thumbnails. Well, what I do is I run them through. You'll see them when I make them. I do a time lapse because I found there's some people who really like to watch the picture just quickly draw itself on the screen, and apparently it's got a zen to it I did not know was that significant. And then I add my other thing and I do the thumbnails. Thank you, Blue Teddy's putting her link up. So follow Blue Teddy. Do you have 100 followers? If you don't, we need to work on that. And she's on Instagram as Blue Teddy Scribbles. Yay! Thank you so much for coming on. Now, I think I'm going to Bob Ross while I'm deciding what I want to do. Usually the Wednesday picture's the funky, slightly racy one, but today we're going to go Bob Ross. And I'm not pulling any punches. I'm opening up with a nice airbrush and about, well, no, let's honkin' get my honk. I said honkin'. Yeah, don't make me come over there. There we go. We're gonna start with this really nice, and I'm getting the edges because I always miss the edges. Nice, fluid, smooth strokes. There we go. Oh, and she's on Tapas. I was going to ask her about how that process works. Well, maybe I'll have her come back, or I'll have her on Nevermind the Furthermore as a guest to talk about drawing webcomics. That might be interesting. So we have our, we're in Happy Little Tree Land. And we're going to just come over here, grab our paintbrush. Actually, wait. I'm going to pull my airbrush down to a much more manageable size before I do this. There we go. Paintbrush. Oh, we've got our thick oil paint. That's a little small. I must have been doing some detail work at one point. That's a little excessive, so that's just right. And we're going to put What should we put on our paintbrush today? I don't need the version of titanium white yet, but what is this, 30%? Yep, 30% gray. 30% gray is a good color to go with, and I am on a different layer, so I don't have to worry about fixing it. I really like this pink. Yeah, let's just flow. Oh, okay. Okay, I get what's going on here. This is nice. We're going to put some dunes. You got dunes forming. Dunes, you say? That's good. I like that. Dunes is a good word. Oh, okay. It doesn't work as a hyperlink for me. I'm sorry to hear that. At BlueTeddyNarrations. Excellent. That's good. Sorry. One of my pet peeves / personal goals is anyone I work with should at least get 100 followers. I'm only asking 1 in 3 of mine to follow people. You know, if you want to do more, that's fine. But we got that needs. What does that need? That needs a bit more here, maybe, and a bit more here. We're just playing, guys. Remember, art should be fun, even if it's a job. It should be fun. There we go. Now we've got something going there. What do we have going there? Oh. Well, that's interesting. Okay, that's a neat shape. I like this too. We'll just block that out, because apparently I'm going to need it later. I'm apparently feeling riverine today. Been a while since I've drawn a river on the show. I don't know if I have. Oh, well, evidently it's working now, so that's an easier link. Yay, something else wonderful has come out today. So we've got that. We've got this. And I may do the joy of digital art in that I can go between the layers. I think I am. I think I'm going to leave it reflected. I like that. So we have these gray dunes, and yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I see what I'm doing. I see how it's going to work. So let me look at my layers. And I am doing something, because I'm digital, that Bob Ross could never do, friends. I'm going between the lines. And I'm going to grab myself. What is the right shade? What is the right shade? Oh, that is the right shade. That is definitely the right shade. Oh, this is lovely. I like this. That's nice. And we'll take our friend the blur tool. And we'll just get that nice kind of zigzag. I may need a little more paint to play with. I may have been a little too yeah, I was too there we are. Let's get that mix going. There we are. Mix that on the water a little bit. Yes, that looks good. We're just following the flow of the river that we see. Normally I do the river work the water work a little later, but I want to keep the light where I have an eye on it because I think that's going to be really good. Now we're going to come back. We'll be revisiting the light effects once we have some more things down, though. So we'll come back to this layer here. And we're going to grab a darker. Yeah, let's grab darker. And, I need my paintbrush back. There we go. And we're just going to throw the paint vaguely where we need it. Little ridges. Let's see. Oh, you're more than welcome to hop back on. Just click the link back in and I'll let you back in. Because no, if you're willing, we can wait in and okay. But yeah, I'd love to hear a bit about it. I might still have you come back for the other show, if that's something you want to do. But you're just such a wonderful guest. I hate to have you go. So. Now there's going to be... here we go. Second. There we go.
Hello
welcome.
again.
Oh, welcome. Hi. That's wonderful. I'll just do that because it makes it a little easier on the feed. So, yes, by all means. How are you? You were talking about what webcomic design. Tell me how you got into that and any advice or anything you have on that, because that's something I don't know about.
I'm sorry, am I echoing? Should I?
I don't think so.
Okay, it might just be on my end then. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that they couldn't hear it. But
I can't hear it. I don't.
Okay,
they'll let us know if there's a problem.
Yeah, so actually, it's not one I write. My friend Dr. Crow, Carnival of the Disillusion. I think you've seen him around a couple times in Luke Stone's chat. But
yes, I think so.
Yeah, he writes it, and that's actually how I got into it. It was when I first started uploading YouTube videos. He approached me and was like, "Hey, can you do a Toonie style?" And I was like, "Oh no," but I sent him something and he liked it. So we've been doing that every week. We go on short hiatuses now and then, like we're on one right now for the holidays. But yeah, it's been almost every week though for like the past couple of years.
Oh, that's just I find that fascinating. What works? Okay, let's put it this way. How does someone get publish on Tapas? Is it a hard? Is it difficult to get in, or is there an interview, or is it just fill out a website?
No, so the nice thing about, I would say the biggest ones are probably Tapas and Webtoons, and the nice thing about both of them is that you can really publish kind of whatever you want. It's very much like almost like a social media type of thing in that way, where they don't there's not like a set standard, which also has its difficulties because then I guess there's a lot to wade through, right? And it's difficult for people to find you.
Right.
But no, I mean it's been really fun as far as just like having a way to put something out every week, and you kind of slowly build stuff. And Tapas, I think they featured us on Twitter at one point, so they do kind of look through, and if they like something, they'll reach out to you and say, hey, can we put you up on this Twitter page or what have you. So
well, That is really neat. Can you tell us about this? What the title is about?
Sure. So, Smoke and Mirrors, my friend Dr. Crow is a magician, and he wanted to do kind of like a Sunday Funnies esque type of comic strip, wherein he is a black cat and his wife is portrayed as this little white bunny, and they're kind of in this cute little world where they run a magic shop together. So it's based very much on them and their life.
Oh, that is adorable. No, I am an absolute sucker for such things. Okay, I want to phrase this. How anthro is it? I mean, are they like Disney Robin Hood anthro or more Beastars anthro?
Really not. He wanted something very simplified and toony. So what I did is, because what he asked for was kind of like a Looney Tunes type of thing, and it was really
Okay.
early for me, and I was like, I don't know if I can do that. I was like, but I can do something just based on what I had seen. I was like, I think I can give you something a little bit more like chibi kind of influenced. So if you've seen Agretsuko on Netflix, I would say
Yes.
that's kind of more in the vein.
Okay. I'm an old friend of Sanrio has been in my life a long time. We'll put it that way.
Yeah.
That's
So
so cool.
I've loved Hello Kitty for a long time, so that definitely I think shows too. But
and I think that's beautiful because I've always been bothered by the people who are afraid to um, to still like things that they liked when they were much younger.
right, yeah.
And it's like, well, that's immature. And it's the same people often who still like, the comic books that they read when they were much younger, or the movies they watched when they were a kid. I don't quite get the, if I said selective maturity,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really glad that you could do that. And is that an all ages comic? I mean, or
Yes, definitely. He puts in adult jokes now and then, but I would say it's going in the same kind of vein of like the older shows where it's like they're there, but no kid's gonna get them. You know what I mean? Maybe this day and age they would actually, but yeah, they're designed to go over their head.
Oh, I absolutely adore that.
I think maybe the furthest straying away from that is we did get maybe a little bit more adult than usual for episode 69, that strip, just because we had to. But
and you're not going to hear me complain because that has to happen. You have to have fun with it, and it is funny. I love how when I talk to people, different people influence me, and it always seems to come out in my art, especially immediately following.
yeah.
So we had just talked, and I look at what I feel like drawing, and it's like, the Blue Teddy sort of energy is a very pastel friendly, kind of cozy. That's just I do a lot by vibe check, for lack of a better word. How people just register in the energy they carry, and I really do love, because you're a very positive kind of person, and and we need that. We need the world needs more simple joy and less grumpy. I don't think the world needs a lot more badasses. I think badasses are adequately represented, and once in a while it's nice to have somebody who's just like friendly, or something.
Yeah, no, I hear that for sure. I mean, don't get me wrong, I definitely have my moods, but
Well, we all do. We all do, and you should have your moods. That's which was the one I used that I was like, oh, I love that. I think it was droplets. There we Now we'll see if this is going to work. Not quite.
Looks really pretty. I do really like the color palette, so.
Well, thank you. Well, maybe. I think I can get the stars kind of coming out behind the clouds as the sunset. Oh yeah, I'll take it. It still feels a little regular, and I'm not sure what else it needs. I gotta think for a second. But I know what it needs. I know I can't do a picture in this. This is sort of an ongoing series. I've been doing this for quite a few of my paintings, and I know what I need to do. We need to put a little guy. We need a little harder line, so we'll put this here, and like that, and we'll just a hint over here. It seems very hard, but don't worry, it'll soften up in a second. Well, maybe it won't. Maybe it needs. Oh, that's not a bad idea either. I don't know. I gotta think. But I'm gonna put just the silhouette kind of thing of a wolf. Apparently, I was gonna put a guy, but like a wolf started to come out. I don't like that last line. But I love the undo button. Like the transform is good, but I love the undo button. We'll put the wolf over there.
That is nice. I've been trying to, because I felt like my line work's a little bit stiff sometimes, so I've been trying to use it less so that it feels more like traditional inking, but keeps a little bit more energy. But yeah.
Well, and it depends on what you're trying to do.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm gonna put this. Give him his stick because he always has a stick. Do something else. I'm gonna try something. We'll see if this works. I'm gonna give him.
I know I'm in that interesting place right now because I have several scripts written, and there's one that's probably like the most commercially viable, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah.
The more I'm trying to draw for it, it is something that, like, I don't know, is much more kind of edgy and almost like more of like a boys audience type of thing. And so I'm almost like when I'm working on it, I'm like, I love this story so much, it's fun to write for, but I'm kind of like, but am I the right artist for that? Because like you said, my stuff is much more like ethereal and pastel and
well, it's the real question is, do you want to be?
Right.
Because you are in a boat actually very similar to me, believe it or not, where that's not bad. There we are. He's got his little lantern on a stick. Oh god, where am I going to sign this thing? I know where else. I sometimes, yeah, I'm gonna have to work on that wolf too. But I sometimes, yeah, let's just. I don't know what I just did. Oh, I know what I did. Where's my razor? Like I'll do something, and if it comes out good, well, it's gonna get screwy over here now. Okay, fine. Let's just undo till the world makes sense again. There we go. Maybe this wolf does not want to be tinkered with. Thou shalt not mess with the wolf. But I'm gonna mess with the wolves. Don't worry. I'm just gonna cheat because I'm working so small. I'm gonna work on this little thing. Get a bit more of a barrel chest. And what we'll do is we'll do this. Okay. But sometimes I get intimidated by my own work. Like, I'm almost afraid to sign it. There we go. He's a fluffy. Okay, maybe he's a dog. Maybe he's not a wolf. Maybe he's just a good boy. There we go. That's fine. He's a good boy because he's got like a furry chest. That's fine. He's got shaggy. There we are. Yep, I got. I let me see how it looks zoomed way out. Oh yeah, that was Lynn. But then again, come on, it's dog. Dog is good. Anyway, yeah, sometimes I get like, should I sign it? I don't know. But a lot of my art depending on my mood and style, will look like it was done by different people. So if you go on my DA account, you'll see my more normal stuff. And then you'll see like I'll get very Bob Ross for a while. I'll do landscapes and things. And then it'll be more anime chicks, because I draw a lot of anime chicks. I know what I'm about. And a staggering quantity of elves, because the world needs more elves and little gnome people, cute gnomes and stuff. But there we are. Yeah, I'm going for this one because it works, and I have lots of room for the logo, which will stand out like a sore thumb. But that's kind of the point. Sunset. And I will save it as a king. It will grump at me. And yes, I think you saw my I do the job, I get paid sign. Which occasionally is required, and that's there. I apologize because it's about to robot. Cobalt. The world needs more cobalt.
Yeah, that looks really nice, though. I like the dark silhouettes in the front.
Thank you. I'm playing with it a bit, and it's like if you go through. Actually, the easiest way is either go to my DA account and look. But if you go through my, I have a playlist of the art time lapses, and you can see the adventures of the guy in the hat with a stick. He's been wandering all these paintings, and he gets into these things. And I have other people who show up, but like I keep coming back to the guy with the hat and the lantern. So he's just becoming. It's almost like a series. If I were, a serious artist, let's come here.
It's fun. You should make a video at some point that like combines all of them, so he can go on his little journey.
I really should, like, just get them all and cut them together and see what happens. Maybe do a few in betweens to make it look like it makes sense. I don't know. If I get okay at animation, I will probably do that. That's a good. No, that's way too big. Come on, Nick. You forgot to shrink things down. There we go. That should be good. It's usually about 3.6. Okay, that's a little small. I'll fix it. And yes, there are ways I could work around this, but we'll do this. Do that. We'll come here. And we'll just put it here, I think. And then we save as. Oh, wait. Can't do that. Got to do this, or else the letters aren't there. That's one I have learned. Save as. Oh, why is it over now? NTF S1E. I want to say 80. We're at 83, 84. All right, see, if I do it this way, when I go to make the videos in a couple hours, I'll, there we go. I'll have the number, so I don't have to look up again what number it is. So we have that. Now, Richie says we need more kobolds. And that I could interpret that as a prompt. So we'll go new. And we'll go here. And we'll go, So, I need to know, do you want kobolds to be the little furry dog-like kobolds or the miniature dragony kobolds? Which ones do you like better? And that's open to you. That's open to the chat. That's open to anyone listening.
Oh, okay. I thought you were asking Rich.
I'm asking both. Richie wants the D&D Pathfinder Dragony or the actual Germanic ones. So that's interesting. Okay. What do you think?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the dragony kind too. So
the dragony kind. Well, that's 2 votes for dragony kind. Okay.
Oh, he's thrown in more curveballs for you.
Oh, and a halfling eating a feast. Jeez, y'all get greedy. Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. Let's get sketchy for a second. Let's get wild. Let's get crazy. Okay. Now that's not me. Well, yeah, that can be me. Sorry, but okay, here we go. Adagabo. So, God, I know what he's getting into. This round table is starting to become problematic because my hand does not want to draw it right now. There we go. Ha! That's why we have sketch layers, friends. Round table. Yay!
He said all the shorties.
Oh, God.
We did a fill-in campaign like that. We didn't even do it on purpose. It was just we were all supposed to make a character for a one-shot, and we all made like gnomes or goblins, or I think there was a dwarf, which would be the tallest, ironically. But
my wife and I did the same thing once. I will put a little turkey bird over here. I'm trying to remember the way Okay, there we go. I'm going to get in trouble, and the spirit of Gobbles McGillicuddy will come after me again. But okay, so that is a reference to the last episode of Dice Dudes and Dames, or Dice Dames and Dudes. I always flip around. That I did for Red Valkyrie Presents. It was right before Thanksgiving was my last episode as a DM, and I was fighting really bad issues. I had hand issues, and my nerves were mechanically shot. Not like I was burnt out, but I didn't know I had developed extremely bad neuropathy. And I had to start going to bed very early and taking a lot of meds and doing physical therapy and all this other crud. But I wanted to go out in style. So I did what became my Pranksgiving, where they got pulled through a portal and set on a giant Thanksgiving dinner. And they had to get the flags off of each dish. But whenever they touched the dish, it would come alive as a monster version. And Gobbles McGillicuddy was like a dragon turkey that was just flying around, spewing acidic gravy at him.
Oh, that's so fun.
It was. So, he said feast, so I need to do feasty things. And we'll give a big stein, because the oversized stein's gonna make it funny. And this may be background. I may hide this layer. I don't know what's gonna happen with this, but I needed a second. Now, kobolds in modern D&D are neat because they do look like little dragony guys. I don't have to draw little dragony guys. I'm gonna give them big old ears. Well, this would be a cute kobold. Male or female on the kobold? And whoever chimes in first gets their choice.
I think female would be fun. I don't know that I've seen a female dragony kobold.
That throw her tail up here. Actually, yeah, we'll throw her tail up because it's a party, so she's going to be uh, dressed for it, so to speak.
I don't know, just the idea of her, I guess, is giving me Birdo in general.
Oh yeah, she is Birdo energy. She definitely has Birdo energy. Like, especially since I'm like, she needs either a tail ring or a bow. So I'm gonna give her a little tail bow. And let's see. Yeah, let's give her eyes because I can't quite decide something. And while I'm working on it, I'll just work on her character, the rest. But give her that. Go! I have to be careful, or else this is going to look like, a chibi version of the lusty Argonian maid. But that's a horrible reference to make. But yeah, Skyrim's great. Yeah, well, she's going to be being kind of coy about things. Let's see. Well, I don't know why she's being coy. She's being coy, and that's fine. Oh, okay. Is there a little bit of romance in the air? I think they're not even drawn yet, and my shipper brain is starting to fire off so very hard. It's like, wait a second, who is this little kobold, and why is she so very interested? They're so little kobold girl. Oh hi, little kobold girl. And we'll get her going. Let's get rid of this and get rid of this. I'm going to be on this layer for a while. I'm not planning on switching tools. And as soon as I say that, I hit the wrong button, but it's okay. I think. No. Yep, that's fine. I'm going to cheat. There we go. Haha. And she'll have her little koboldy dress on. And she's just going to be cute because it is a party. I'll give her a little necklace. So she's cute. And she needs... Oh, I know what I'll do. She helped cook the feast and she's being shy about it. That works because she's got her little apron on. It's like I want to give her a hat or something, but can't quite make it work. So I'm going to give her some earrings. This is a fun character. See, this is when I run trouble because it's like my brain is just like cranking out lore right now for this kind of shy little kobold girl. Okay, so we got shy little kobold girl. We've got a feast. We need a gobbo. I'm past. Oh god, I just did a kobold girl, and I love little gobbo girls too. But we'll see. Let's see. Okay. Let's ask the question. When you say gobbo, do you want a more traditional gobbo, or do you want the cute? On a scale of 1 to 10, kind of how cute do you want the gobbo to be? And I'm okay. Wait. A true party crowd. I'm telling you, it is of great importance that female dragons have boobs. That's where they store the fire. Well, thank you for that bit of insight there, Johnny. There is a part of me that wants to go on full. Maybe she's trying to earn her wings. Maybe that's part of it. You do whatever your job is good enough, and you eventually get your wings. Because she also doesn't have hair, but I'm kind of digging it because she's got little horns. I think they need spirals. There we go. See, and I do love like characters who have big ears, like your elves or whatever, having really interesting piercings. I think that's almost a necessity. And make sure the skirt looks like a skirt because little bit of almost a mutton sleeve that's rolled up because she's been cooking. Oh, underscale her. She's delightful. Thank you. So on the gobbo, are we doing cute gobbos? Are we doing aggressive, scary gobbos? What kind of gobbo do you want? And male or female?
When you said you had shipping ideas, so that means you're wanting to make the gnome or well, maybe not. I guess it depends.
I just she just looks like she needs little hearts. I mean, come on. Tell me she doesn't look like, I don't know who or what she's in love with, but whoever is like right here is
I think it'd be
definitely what?
yeah.
Cute.
I think it'd be fun to have like a cute little like a girl gobbo too, and they're both in love with like this dashing gnome.
Oh god, okay. It is scary how much you have read my mind. Okay, cool. So we'll have the dashing gnome right here. And the table is kind of oversized for them, but it has to be because they're little and it's funny. And I may put like background people over here that are just like tree trunks, like irrelevant tree trunks. But okay, we got. Gosh, it's the kids' table. Anyway, it's the kids' table. Okay, gnome gets moderate ears. I'm trying to decide if he's like the stylish rogue. Yeah, back a cute gobbo and scary halfling. Sorry, the halfling slash gnome character. Oh yeah, is dashing. We don't get maybe dashing. Maybe he's a half. That would be funny. You never hear about a half halfling, half gnome. But I kind of like that guy. So that means he needs a truly magnificent hat. That's the first rule of gnomedom. Gnomes always have excellent hats. So he's got his little. We know his hat is excellent. You know what? I'm going to give him like the little braid. I'm shorthanding the braid because I know what that means. And okay, does the gnome have facial hair? Or the home? The gnomeling? I don't know. Anyway, this dude.
The gnomeling.
The gnomeling.
I think the hat calls for facial hair. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I think so too. Let's actually. I have to zoom in because at the biggest when I'm doing this right now, the canvas I have is about 5x5 with the way I have to have my screen laid down. So.
Okay. Oh yeah, Rich said musketeer facial hair.
Musketeer facial hair. I think we could work that. He does. He already has. Well, okay. Wait. I can fix that because we were drawing feathers earlier. So now he has a hat. He resembles one of my other characters from the past, but that's okay. He has a hat because I'm gonna give it a little gem on the side. He has a hat. Just a little bit of Indiana Jones down on that brim. Yes. God, this almost feels like a harem anime in progress. A little bit of Tenchi Muyo energy. And I am positively here for it. Yeah, he's definitely like. Let me check my eye lines. That's not bad. I'll make his eyes a little bigger. There we go. And again, this is just the sketch period. So. Oh yeah, dorky grin. Dorky grin is a must. Now let's give him musketeer facial hair. Let's see if I can keep everything going. Okay, if he has musketeer facial hair, he definitely needs some little of this action. Alrighty, there we go. So we have him, and he's awkwardly smiling at the lusty kobold maid. Anyway, so by all rules of of anime, harem, and shipdom, if these two are being very cute, Gobbo Girl. Gobbo Girl. And I do love my Twitter big eared goblins. I'm a sucker for that. Uh, is not having any of this at all. She may have an axe. I will see. She is not happy. Well, I don't know. Is she not happy or is she going goo goo too? I don't know. Like, is she romantic or not happy?
Well, even if she were romantically interested, if the other girl's winning him over with a feast, she'd still be unhappy about it, right?
Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to figure out how I want to channel that, because it's actually quite complex, and like I'm gonna make her like a touch feral, you know?
Ooh, yeah.
Because if we're running anime stereotypes, she is very much the Ryoko to the Kobold's Aika. And I know I'm quoting ancient anime from the early days, but this also has a little bit of the a little bit more nose. Comics are born of this idiocy, guys. This is how like whole storylines are formed. Give her like shoulder pads, but she's a gobbo, so she's got to have a little bit of, because she's definitely going to have a bit of short stack build. I don't know. I need to. I like her, but she needs something. Oh, okay. She needs an ear notch. Is she a gobbo barbarian? Is that what's going on? A gobbarian, if you will? Okay, if I do that, and I put her arm on the table, and I know that. Oh God, I keep hitting my shortcut for the dropper.
Rich is suggesting steam coming out of her ears. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm thinking we go classic anime here with the like angry hashtag of death over here, and she's gonna be like this, and instead of holding her knife like she should, she's really thinking about just chunking it. Just chunking it in her smug, no good, how dare you, little Miss Goody Two Shoes face. Oh, this is fun. Days like this are why I draw. Let's see. Petulant Sears, that's why you don't ask a fantasy writer for prompts. I'm a fantasy writer and artist. I want fantasy prompts. Because look at what's come out of this. I'm just darkening up the lines so I can find them because I accidentally drew them way too light. And yeah, I really kind of like that she's just like seriously considering yeeting a knife at her.
Contemplating murder.
Goblin rage intensifies. And then we just put like in the background, these, they're not trees, they're just oversized people who, clodhoppers who don't really get what's going on, don't matter. There we go. That's a story. I dig this. And I left a good space I can throw the logo in later. I have to check these things. And then we just hit the inking. This one's going to take time, friends, because this one needs all the love. Oh, this one needs all the love. And we'll start asking shippers after because now you do realize I'm going to have to do a full draw up on these three characters. Like, this doesn't get to stop here. I know me; I've seen this happen before. So I'm going to have to name everybody and give them a complete draw up and walk around. Oh, I did not need this much work.
And then, you have to ask people to be like, okay, so who's best girl?
Exactly. Exactly. Like, the shipper wars have already begun. And if I know anything about this genre, and Lord, do I. Oh, by the way, Belle Dandy, ultimate waifu, all time. I've yet to see her beat, but and there have been some contenders, but Belle Dandy from Oh My Goddess is my peak waifu from the old days.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that.
I'm an old anime fan, and it's really hard to keep up now because there are so many and they come out so fast.
There are, yeah, for sure.
And there are some great newer characters. And
yeah, like I think this season I watched the new season of Spy X Family. That was good, and I've been keeping up with Chainsaw Man.
What's her name? Oh, the assassin lady from that with the hair.
I think it's. I'm so bad with names. I think it's Lore, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. She's also, if I have to go, modern current, I would go. She's way up there. She's a great character. But so who's your favorite waifu and or husbando?
That's a very good question. I think waifu, I would have to also go relatively far back.
That's fine.
I think probably it's still Sailor Mars.
You are a woman of taste and quality, because my real life wife's attitude, and what Sailor Mars was also my favorite too, is very much Sailor Mars. That's just she's almost as Andre, but so best husbando then.
So okay, this one's actually probably a newer show. There was a character, the main character, Bisco in Mushroom Keeper Bisco.
Okay, I haven't watched him, but I will accept.
It kind of falls into that, like the spiky red hair, slanty-eyed shonen protagonist with an attitude. That kind of
yes. Oh yes. I can see that, and there's nothing like going that bad boy is hot, because from raw aesthetics, I just started Dr. Stone, and I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in, and they let loose the high school's toughest fighter or whatever, and he's an absolute sociopath. But why anime, why do you make your sociopathic villains so very attractively drawn? Like,
every time, without fail. Yep.
Like freaking Sephiroth.
Yeah.
It just aesthetically is so pretty, and I'm comfortable saying that. I got nothing to prove or nothing to say, but just the bad guys are so pretty.
It's like even in stuff for little kids. I mean, who watched Pokemon as a kid and didn't grow up like half in love with Jessie?
Yeah. Well, like, I hate to say it, I watched that whole series, and Jessie was amazing, and James was the best Pokemon trainer in the series and got no love whatsoever. Those two are just like, you know, perfect. And it's like I don't like to think about what's happened. You know, like the fact that they're replacing Ash after 25 years with a new protagonist.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And,
so weird.
and you know that means they're getting rid of Jesse and James too, most likely, and Meowth, and that just bothers me somehow.
It
This
is
is
weird. It's already a very different feeling. Like, because my little sister's into Pokemon now, and she'll watch stuff, and it's already a very different show. Like
well,
Ash is
yeah.
Ash, but he's not really Ash. Like he's much more toned down and like, I don't know, like a respectful young Japanese man as opposed to the, kind of arrogant, bombastic character that he was.
Oh yeah. Well, I think a lot of the characters we love just aren't as uh, received. Like I am very, very nervous about the Trigun reboot because Vash the Freaking Stampede is sort of life goals. You know what I mean? I have there are a couple wall scrolls I have, and one of them that's up in my living room is of Vash the Stampede because he's just that cool. Even though I identify more with Wolfwood. I love Vash, but I don't think I'm clean enough to be Vash. I can work with Wolfwood. I'm not good enough to be Vash, but like Wolfwood makes sense. And unfortunately, every character in like media I really identify with usually dies. It's kind of problematic. I think it's because I see myself as a support character.
Yeah,
But
no, I get what you mean. Well, and it feels like, yeah.
yeah, no, you're fine. This is an anime whatever safe space. Anybody gets grumpy about it, they can take it up with me.
I get what you mean. Like the anime, the protagonists are usually my least favorite characters, except for in the really like bombastic fighting shonen. Like,
Oh yeah.
and those they're usually more fun. But a lot of times, I mean, there are lots of jokes about the kind of standard like stock anime protagonist guy who's a little bit boring.
Yes, we know. I watch Sword Art Online too.
Right.
Although, like, Kirito had moments where when he was like borderline villainous, especially in season 1, was like peak Kirito. Like when he got the coat, it's like, yeah, I'm a beater. Deal with it. It's like, oh, yeah. I can like this character so much right now, and then he sort of fizzled. But,
I feel like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on. No.
It is. You were saying Trigun it's an anime reboot, though, right? It's not like the Western.
Right.
Redo. Okay.
It's an anime reboot, but it's sort of. If I said it looks like they're trying to do the art like Ruby.
Oh. Why?
Yeah. Well, see, I'm also a huge sucker for the hand-drawn anime, the older art styles, like Record of Lotus War. And you want to talk, classic waifu material, you talk about Deedlit, but she's a little flighty for me.
Yeah.
But like aesthetically, staggeringly beautiful. And the newer stuff, they use enough CGI to cheat, and it just doesn't have the heart a lot of the time.
Yeah, I think for me it depends. Like you said, if the CGI is used to cheat, which a lot of times it is, but if it's more intentional, I think it works well. Like, because Chainsaw Man is one where they used a lot of CG, but like that was baked into the whole art style from the get-go. You know what I mean? So it doesn't look
absolutely.
jarring. It doesn't look like we just didn't feel like drawing this car, so it's going to be CG. You know what I mean? Instead, like,
yeah, no, I totally get that. Oops. I skipped a whole bunch of comments, so let me drop through those real quick. The American version was weird that way. James was more methodical in the Japanese version. He wasn't caring for Jesse, bottle cap collecting lovable guy in their version, and that's fine. I like American James. He's a soft boy, but he needs to be protected and loved. Uh, and yeah, I can see with the thing. Yes, they're rebooting Trigun. No, I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm resisting old guy rage. So it will be different. I've seen the trailer. I'm giving it a shot. That's all I can, say. And yeah, Wolfwood. Wolfwood is my boy. Absolutely. Wolfwood is one of the best depictions of how a cleric should be in anime. You know? And yes, I am a sucker for the gun cleric too. Bullets aren't sharp. Oh, sorry. I kind of ranted for a second there, which I don't normally do on the show. But I'm passionate about anime. But yeah, good CGI, and when it's blended well, you get something like the Gundams, where the newer Gundams, obviously they use a lot of CGI just to keep track of the moving parts. And I'm here for that. I love Gundam, especially the more bizarre. Gundam Wing was brilliant. I really got into Iron Blood Orphans. That was fun. But I love Gundam, but I have trouble. Like, I watched Iron Blood Orphans all the way through. Can I remember the character names at all?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I'm like, yeah, I've seen that one, and nope.
I mean, it's like, I love scarred, crazy, somewhat feral protagonist boy.
Right.
He was very much a cross between Hiro Yui and Sena from Tenchi Muyo War on Genmar. He was a neat character, but I think I'm going to go old school, kind of pencil sketchy with this because I'm having fun. But
he looks so adorable. I love it.
This is his Stein, by the way, and I think it's hilarious because
but it's like as big as his head.
Yeah. This feels like a post-mid boss, but they found out that there's a big boss, like dinner. And he was just trying to think about how he's going to handle everything. Because he does have protagonist energy. Like, he just does. He has protagonist energy. I'm not sure what class he is. But he definitely has protagonist energy and like a scaled down rapier. I know that. Because with that hat and stuff, he has to have a scaled down rapier. There's no choice.
Oh, Rich, I honestly thought the caps were just intentional. I mean, they kind of work. Just makes it seem like you were really upset about the cheesecake.
Okay, wait, let's see. Rebooting. Oh, wow, I'm way behind. Give me a second. I missed shows like Black Lagoon. Oh my gosh. Yes, that's great. Dead Man Wonderland's good. Looked at the trailer. Cheesecake with Splenda. It can be done right. But yes! No. Oh God, because I'm diabetic, so I actually understand this in my soul. Yes. No, you did not miss key. Those caps were perfectly on time. I agree. It's weird. I don't like anime that others do. Grew up with Macross and Battleship Yamamoto, so I'm drawn to more anime, more adult protagonists and antagonists. Yes. Okay. My favorite anime of the slightly older era. Oh God. You got Trigun. You have the Vampire Hunter D's. Both of those are masterpieces. Unassailable. The only reason that D isn't husbando material is he's so pretty and so sad. You just have to leave him like the glass structure that he is. Just let him be. And I mean, when I say I like Vampire Hunter D, I have the wall scroll for him downstairs in what was going to be my original art office, and I have a frame of the original Vampire Hunter D from one of the theatrical showings. I actually have a single frame of the movie framed in on my wall of cool. He's right next to my uh, Shadowrun troll guy. Oh, here. Oh wait, never mind. I'm not going to mess with the camera thing. It'll throw off the flow I'm arting. I'll show you guys next time you ask. But no. I love Masamune Shinro's work. So Ghost in the Shell, Tank Police, no, Dominion Tank Police. Oh my gosh, that was good. It's just beautiful work. And yet, men who were boys of a certain age who watched the Annapurna Unapuna distraction dance have that stuck in their head. It's fan service, but it served the fans well. Totally swashbuckler. Yes, my ma used to make awesome cheesecake with Splenda. That most don't. Apparently, I need to find the light novels for Legend of the Legendary Heroes. Yes, you do. Oh my God, Lupin the Third. That fits. No, like, you know when somebody says something and it just feels like it unlocks a key in your head? Joe D. McPhee saying Lupin the Third is a spirit animal. I see that so hard, Joe. That makes so much sense. And not see, as soon as I start drawing the Gabo girl, yeah, that lip is out. She is cheese. That jaw's just set. Lupin reminds me a lot of the art I've seen. That was meant for Jody. I know, because I've seen, and that's a good thing for Joe to consider using as reference to look at, because the anime inspiration is there in his work. See, I see a later episode of the Shorty Adventures or whatever this is, where Barbarian Gabo tries to get all dressed up and has trouble doing it. To, try to impress folks. And that's when she and the kobold actually end up finally becoming friends. Because the kobold ends up helping her out.
No. I'm just imagining like you've seen the episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender where like Katara and Toph.
Yes.
The really heavy makeup.
That is exactly the kind of energy I was going for. And she has that Toph vibe to her.
Definitely.
And again, I'm here for it. Toph is one of the best written characters of all time. And the fact that they decide, you know what would be funny? Instead of having this be a big burly dude, let's make it a little blind girl.
Mm-hmm. It was a great choice. I think she was a lot of people like up there for favorite. I mean, all of the characters in that are solid, but
oh yeah. I'll worry about what's going on. She's got like the straight up mane hair. She is like a wild child. I love this little Gabo. What? She's blushing. That's what's going on. She's blushing. She'd never admit it, and she'd probably hit you with an axe if you said anything, but she is definitely blushing. Give her little bracers up front because she's wearing full armor to the dinner. That might be all she has. She only has like fighting clothes because all she does is fight.
Makes sense.
And see, that's what I love about doing this show, because I sit here and yes, this is just I need to do thumbnails. I need to do at least 3 of them a week. And I could just stop there and just say, yep, 3 thumbnails, crank out something, not blow multiple hours. But I'm not just getting thumbnails out of it. I'm getting whole stories. And I have little tiny stories like this in the book that I finally got my copies of. I was going to do an unboxing, but I didn't want to risk taking the spotlight from Blue Teddy. But I finally got my box of the books of my Art and Tales.
Oh, that's so exciting!
Yeah, it is. It's what's funny is I was getting pictures because like Kat Rothermel's husband ordered her a copy of the book for her birthday, and her birthday was very early in January. We're still early in January, but I don't want to overshare stuff. But and she shared, I'm like, my book is in people's hands. I love seeing that because what it was I would get, I started to do Inktober till I found out about the rules of Inktober, and the guy went and sued people and got kinky for a while. So
yeah, I remember something about that. I never really looked into it though.
So I had stopped and I just started doing random props too, and I redid some stuff, and I had the pile of pictures. But whenever I was doing the prompt, this would happen. I'd be like, the prompt says scurry. I need to know why they're scurrying. It's not just drawing a rat because rats scurry. And, so I got these stories in my head. And so when I put them up on my DA account, I would write the little story in the description. And sometimes it'd be, a sentence. And sometimes it would be like nearly a full page or more than a page. And I realized I could format it down to being, what I need. Oh, I almost forgot to color in her hearts. Her hearts need color. You know what? She's the caster. Okay. And what I think is happening is she has prestidigitation going at all times and forgets. So like let me come over here. The Gabo, you may or may not actually see the kind of veiny angry thing, but like everyone can literally see the hearts floating above her head.
That's funny.
I'm doing I did a RPG with Luke Stone that's coming out, and that should be well known, the Hybrids of Sons of Gods RPG. But I'm going this year to be doing my fantasy version using the engine I made for Hybrids. And I think I might try to put this image actually in that book somewhere, because these guys are just too fun. And they'll probably be black and white, not to cut out on anybody, but it means I can keep the book cheaper. And, a better RPG, cheaper, that WotC can't sue people for, just seems like a good idea. And, I'm going to be doing my own things with, like, goblins, and I have a whole world of things I want to do with the elves.
So do you have, like, a base system published right now that's your own, or is that still, like, coming?
The quick play version of the rules has been out for almost 2 years now, I think, because I had set that up with Luke Stone before he went down with COVID.
And that's the Big Stompy Robots one?
No, Big Stompy Robots is a table. It's like a tactics game, like BattleTech.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So at this version now, I do want to do an RPG attachment at some point, where you handle all in the RPG. You would handle all the interpersonal stuff with the RPG engine, and then the mech combat would still be the big snappy robots engine.
Oh, that'd be really fun. Yeah.
And I have, I want to do. I had a version of that has to be play tested that will play kind of like. Okay, well, I don't want to say, because it's one of those that it's a surprise. I want, when I release the system, people to be like, "Oh, that's what that really is." So I kind of got to keep it under my hat. But it's going to be a play style of tactics game that I've wanted for basically like 30 years. No one's made it, but there are, in the Big Stompy Robots universe, there's a whole lot of lore, because shockingly, it's me, and I have to have a whole lot of lore. And there are two really fun novels. They're little short novellas that are on Amazon that you can get. And I have about 5 more in different degrees of production. So when I'm not doing my shows, which I do a lot of shows, I'm going to be putting out the finishing up those novels, and I'm going to be putting out the Big Stompy Robots game. I have a game called Melee I did about 20 years ago, that was meant to be played on like a chessboard or a grid, for people who, it was originally designed for people who do like medieval reenactment, so that they could do test tactics and stuff. A very simple game, a lot of fun. And what do we got? I've been talking, so let me. Lupin, that was meant, and it's meant as a compliment. I really need to see more of Joe's stuff. I like what I've seen so far. You'll like more, and if he takes the critique stuff into mind, it'll be great. Total Ferris vibe, calls the gnome a perv, but secretly is in love with him. Oh yeah.
She's a tsundere.
Oh yes, definitely. She solves problem with axe. That's why she's not serious. Though she threatened me with a knife, then she didn't want to hurt you. What? If she was threatening you with her axe, well, she wouldn't threaten you. She'd just hit you. The knife is just her being social. Does she need a nose ring? Oh my gosh, she actually does. Okay, cool. I did not know that about her. And yeah, I'm gonna give her like a stud and like what industrial kind of thing going. So like I said,
Yeah.
I used to have all the different earrings memorized by name, but it didn't stick. There we go. But yeah, kind of like BattleTech, where you can play it all, either long range battle game or more zoomed in and pilots doing weird stuff. Yeah, that's part of the ultimate goal. And I'm actually, on top of all my other projects, I am learning to code for Unity, or I will once I get a couple other things figured out, and that will let me go. They're like plushies. I just want to gather all 3 of them up, because they're all like between 2 and 3 feet tall. They're little tiny folks. I just want to like squish them and hug them and keep them forever. I am pleased with this. I don't usually like my art that much, but this is a good one.
Definitely. Yeah, no, they're all very playful looking too. Like they would make great like little like vinyl toys,
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. These are the ones, these are the ones you get and you put next to more serious vinyl toys on your shelf to make it look funny,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have, well, I have some. I have quite a few, but I don't know. Like the higher grade tall ones. The only big anime like vinyl kind of toy I have is about I think she's a 10-inch sign-on, because I was at a gaming convention and I was sitting next to a guy I know, and normally he sells perler beads, but he got hold of one of these relatively cheap, and she's in a little cheerleader outfit, and he's got it, and people would come look at it, look around, get embarrassed, and leave, like they wanted to buy it. But he's sitting there, and the price, it started out at 70, and he hadn't sold. He sold like one pin all day. And I watched it, and I go, I bet if it goes down to 20, because he'd gotten down to, he's just marking out the tag, redrawing it 70, by $5 increments. And I looked at my pocket and went, I bet some just absolute goofball would buy it at 20. He goes, nobody's brave enough, but at this point, I'll take it. And as soon as he writes it down, I hop around the table and I run over and I kind of whip a 20 at him.
Yeah.
Grab it and I put it down. My wife is dying. She's like, really? Yeah. Well, because for a long time, the Sword Art Online, SAO stood for Sign-Ons Online. That was how we defined that show. I like that. Okay. So I'm going to sign this guy. This is I shouldn't. Don't fall in love with your own art. And I could do a full cleanup on this, but it is so cute. Like, wait. Let's actually look at it. Let's get rid of the blues. Oh my god.
It is. It's really fun.
And I don't think I've ever actually drawn a modern kobold before. Ever. So this
she
is my
looks
first.
Great. Yeah, I liked the other dragon that you drew too. That was just like the face.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Donna that it was.
Yeah, Donna was
teeing off against.
Donna was had a rough time, a very rough time, and she had said something about if there was a purple dragon, I'd pet it. That's what I. So I'm like, I'm going to draw a purple dragon and have Donna pet it. That reminds, I'm waiting to hear back, and Joe's not listening. I need to know the dimensions because I have to draw another dragon. But that really, am I okay? Yeah, I'm just too happy with this. So save as. What are we calling this? I need a name for this. And you can see. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see another work in progress I have that I haven't finished because that was me just doodling. I could bring that up after. We'll call it Shorty Squad. Shorty Squad. And I am saving this as a big file, so it may take a minute. I'd love to see this as an animation. Animating is something that's coming down the line. I'm always doing things. My son Coast is helping Nick art. You have moderate neuroses at the worst. And we'll save as Shorty Squad as a ping, so I can use that.
I have so much respect for animators because, man, even like a short little like ball bouncing kind of thing, and I'm like, no, I don't have the patience for this. Oh, it's an insane amount of work. At least doing like the.
I've done some animation, and one piece of the animation I did survive. It's buried as a GIF in my DA. It's just a little loop of a wyvern flying.
Mm-hmm.
But it's way down there. Let's export this. And now I just have to do one more thing. Because never waste your art. Boom. Are you going to not even be close to formatting right, are you? No, of course not. But get you where you need to be and get you back to the comic that I use and make you red. And yes, guys, if you worked here, everything I talk through, I'd be talking through. Because it keeps my brain together to talk, narrate what I'm doing.
Makes sense. I think, and especially if you're streaming, it can feel weird too to just like be quiet because I don't know that idea that there are people watching you.
Well, I don't want to bore people,
Right.
so I sort of stream of thought the whole process. Let's see, how's that look?
Yeah, no, I've only streamed by myself a couple of times, and it was a while ago and on a different platform, but it was very much like I was like, I have to talk the entire time because otherwise I feel awkward.
Well, and it kind of it is 85, so that's all set up. I think that's gonna hit OK. Should remember the text. Yep. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, let's see. We have done this. That is all settled. Everything is shipped for that, so I can close that. No, do not save because I'm not worried about it having the text. Now let me see if I go recent.
Johnny said he feels bored, so he'll just open the clip of the chair in another tab.
Well, that's terrible. That's funny, but that's terrible. Let me see. Okay, Detail Elf. I'll work on Detail. Oh, do I have? Yeah. Detail Elf. Bam. This was sketching by myself. There we go.
Oh, she's pretty.
Thank you. Like I said, I've been watching Record of Lotus War over because I did not realize just how much. Yeah, that'll do. That show had influenced my like the art style I pursue. Between that and Oh My Goddess did a lot to influence my art style, but Record of Lotus War just looked right. And what you have is a that flowing ethereal. You draw very close to that with those fine lines, and so much of my art is very thick lines, very very bold, very defiant. Very colorable lines.
Right.
It's like I started out as a as looking at the coloring things, and I just sort of latched onto that, and it never really let go. So I'm designing a musical instrument here, so it took some of my brain power. My lines tend to be just this bulkiness, and I don't always want them to be as heavy as I run. So when I see somebody who can do what you do with the very fine lines, I'm genuinely impressed. At the same time, I'm like, okay, where's the strength whereas the weakness in that style.
Right.
And
Yeah. No. Well, and that's what I was talking about too with that. The comic script that I've got, where I'm like, I think the biggest thing is that I do like it. It calls for a very kind of in your face, punchy graphic sort of style, you know. So I'm like, okay, so I got to work on trying to make things sharp and thick, and that's kind of runs a little counterintuitive to I think what I default to. So
well, we can if that's your intention. And yeah, I know her ears are all dorked up. This is just a sketch layer. Uh, um, that you can. There's a lot of references, and look up references for fighting because that'll be great for anatomy, or just look up like you know martial arts competitions and like kung fu movies on YouTube, and then just pause them mid fight and look at how the weight is distributed, where the bodies are. If you ever have sword questions, you're more than welcome to come on my, come out into the chat on my Friday 8 o'clock Historical Fencing Guild show that's on my other channel. And we'll be happy to talk through that because fight choreography in art is very much a thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, and I do have some that are more, set in like a fantasy world. So there are some swords there, but of course then I've got to compete with, okay, well, how would someone use swords against magic? What does that look like?
Well, I would say that's a great question. I almost wish I weren't drawing this very serene, beautiful picture, but swords against magic, it's a lot about timing. With the sword, you have to gain distance. That's why the the anime ups trope, where that character can somehow jump 50 feet in the air,
yeah,
becomes very important because they have to close in. A lot of it's if they can get in and get in quick, they have a shot. But if they don't, oh yeah, the barely opened eyes, that will work really well. They're in trouble, or they better have magic of their own.
Right. Well, and that is definitely because that kind of comes back to I really like world building, and with the more fantasy based one, a big part of the world is how magic is, kind of an oppressive thing because people who have it have a huge, undeniable advantage. And even even when I do sci-fi, there's always still magic for me, like it's a fantasy sci-fi, but
you're in good company. I rarely do true like hard sci-fi.
Right.
And but I love, it's funny, I love low magic where if you don't know about it, you wouldn't even think magic exists in a setting.
Right. Yeah, because the more sci-fi one I'm doing is kind of similar, and where for a long time humans were sort of, well, actually in this world they were just kind of straight up enslaved because they couldn't do anything about it, and then eventually an element was discovered that was able to be used to turn the tides a little bit because they could get a huge boost in technology that magic users couldn't because it's toxic to them. So
I love it. Please don't feel you need to hesitate, because that sounds great, unless it's something like your NDA you're not supposed to talk about. Stick the pointy
it's my
guy muttering to himself and waving his hands. I love this when she says, "There's almost always chocolate in my peanut butter and peanut butter in my chocolate."
Yep.
I get that. it's funny because I'm actually working on one of the books for Big Stompy Robots is it is a it, it's one I'm in progress for, and it has the title Designated Meat, which sounds terrible, but it's um, as you know, the technology that lets you have giant robots and tanks and all this other stuff develops. You also get I need to work on those ears. They're not bad. They're just big old ears. I'm not.
That's great though. I love big, like it's probably one of my favorite like stylistic things that has come into popularity recently. Like even with elves, like I'd rather them be big and floppy than like the straight pointy up, you know?
Oh well, see, if the ears can articulate, that makes the character so much more expressive.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I live for that. I've had again. Think of Deedlit and her big old. My friend Aaron used to call them weather vane elves. She hated weather vane elves. Now it's funny because Aaron is like first generation or second generation Irish in America, and is about as close to an elf as somebody can get of a certain style. So I think she just saw it as cultural misrepresentation.
That's
But
fun.
It's I love anthro art, and I love fantasy, and just to escape and explore,
Definitely.
and that's what I do in my art. I just if I can't get there physically anymore, I can escape things, fantastically. And if I find a neat place to go, why not share it with people? If that's part of why I became a DM and game master, and why I then started designing games. I wanted to share the places that my mind went with people who would enjoy visiting there.
Right. And I don't know, it has been interesting because I've been thinking a lot about, especially with current attitudes towards depicting certain types of things, bad guys being bad or bad things happening that could, mirror in certain ways like real world things,
Oh yeah.
And it's interesting because there is this kind of like attitude right now that you either shouldn't do it at all, or that if you do, you have to be very on the nose with it and follow, current kind of social standards for how you talk about it. And it's just like I think there's something though that's more helpful in letting it exist in the world it does, and if there are things that line up, then that can be informative to us. But if there are ways that the differences too that can happen, I think are just as informative. So
well, part of it is fantasy is always parody,
yeah.
and it's like there's some people who get mad at Star Trek for being too political, and I kind of go, do you wait what? Like, if you want to watch Star Wars, that's fine. I love Star Wars too, but being political has always kind of been what Star Trek was about,
Right.
And usually it was presented in a way where you a lot of times they wouldn't have the answer. It would be you end up having to go, what do you think of it, as the sort of ending. I just respected that. That hand's gnarly. I'm gonna have to really zoom in and work on that hand, but
Yeah. But no, I mean, definitely like letting people find their own answers. I know a lot of times, open-ended questions, that mystery boxes or whatever, have gotten a bad rap, but when it comes to big moral questions, I think that open-ended's probably the best way to go.
Yeah, and Star Wars was political too, and not in the same way. Yeah, there's always politics, and as a creator, you either uh, you either leave it to the right reader, you know, or viewer or whatever to process, or you say your place, and if people don't like it, that's up to you. But you should be able to tell your truth. You know, express what you've learned and what you feel. And again, if it promotes discussion, I don't see that as a bad thing. But then again, I'm also totally comfortable with working with people I politically disagree with as long as they're civil. And I'm
Right.
totally I read things. It's like I don't agree with that, or I don't like this aspect of that show. I might not, depends on the aspect. But a lot of times I like that show, but I think they take this too far. And if somebody wants to talk about it, you have, dare I say, real discourse. You have the exchange of thoughts and ideas. And you can, when presented with new evidence, and remember, it's new to you evidence, you can change your mind. Yeah. And there are some things that you could be presented with new opinions and not change your mind. Yeah. I believe in, I believe in personal freedom, but the responsibility that comes with it.
Definitely. No, I mean, and that's the thing, is I think that there's kind of become this attitude of, if somebody, say, relates to your villain and decides that that's something, that they're the type of character they want to emulate, that's the writer's fault. And I don't know, I just don't think that's particularly fair, because it's like people are going to be who they are regardless of whether or not they stumble upon your work. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's giving us almost a little too much credit.
Okay, if that's the case, see, I wasn't quite. You were careful enough. I wasn't 100% sure where you were going with something.
Well, no, I was being more vague at first. That was more specific, like,
right,
just a different direction. Just the last thing you said made me think of that.
Okay, no, that is a really neat point, and it is one I contend with, because I write books about how to sword fight and knife fight and axe fight. I have been teaching people to sword fight for 20 years. I realize that there is a chance of someone misusing that real world knowledge, that I have imparted on them. Is it my fault if they do? And my response to it, aside from, like, emotionally, if somebody did something like that, I would feel responsible, but that wouldn't be a justifiable feeling. It's just I am prone towards a certain level of personal guilt,
Sure.
But the I don't know, the responsibility of a person's actions have to fall on them, and I try not. How do I put it? I try not to glorify evil in my work, even though it'll look. There will always be people who watch Star Wars and see the dark side and are like, but that's cool. And there's nothing you can say to say, you missed the point. It's all consuming. I don't care. There will always be people who will use knowledge and inspiration negatively, because they take any knowledge and inspiration and use it negatively.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, like, I think of, well, like V for Vendetta, Or yeah, and Watchmen too, like that, in both of those, obviously people took his characters in ways that he didn't intend. He's come out and said as much, like
Oh yeah.
that it upsets him that people relate to these characters. But it's like, I don't know, at some point I think that just comes from being honest, and it's even if you see the negative in those characters in a way that maybe other people don't, like that's just where they are at their growth, and they were going to be there regardless of whether or not they read your stuff, like.
Oh well, I mean, there are so many. I'll give you a historical example that's old enough it won't be spicy for anyone. Um, when these ships were starting to switch over from being sailing ships to powered vessels, uh, one of my favorite poets, a gentleman by the name of G.K. Chesterton, wrote a story, and it was called the. Oh, wait, sorry, that's it. Look, any talk beyond "it just sucks" opens the door for exchange of ideas and thoughts as opposed to bias. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Hear that, Nick? Write your villains. Anyway, I'll get to that, Johnny. I will get there, but the story was called "The Good Ship Clampherdown," and a gentleman made it into a song. It was sort of a story poem about how this good ship Clampherdown was this great metal, great iron ship with steam going and all this other stuff, and it's popping off at the I want to say it's a British ship, and they see the little freighter going, the little what the heck was it? Destroyer kind of going by. It's a sailing ship, and they miss it, and and the ship, the engines are breaking down, and the good ship Clampherdown, is partially sealed, and the gun barrels are stuck, and the enemy ship pulls up alongside and demands them surrender, and that the captain turn over a sword because that's how they'd surrender. And the captain responded, "They've asked for the sword. They'll have it now, out cutlasses and board." And we stripped bare to the chest and bare of the feet, and we fought like the days the ancient fleet. And it's this whole and their ship is sinking, but they've all rushed and taken this other British ship. And and it was supposed to be a parody on how ridiculous people expect combat to be, and everyone loved it.
Yeah.
It's a song. It became, he accidentally wrote this rousing story, and I love it. The thing is, I heard it in song form first by a gentleman by the name of Michael Longcore. And you can find it if you search online, I think. But the world tries to tell us we want a certain kind of story. And I think we want good stories. We want bad guys who are bad and good guys who are good. Because in stories you have that. You may not always in life, but you have that in story. At the same time, you have to be careful with your villains because, yeah, you might inspire people. Occasionally there are legal issues, especially with like current events being how they are. But some of the villains really had. It's like I'm sorry, Killmonger was right about a whole lot of stuff. Did I lose you, Blue Teddy?
No, yeah, I'm just
Okay. No, I just want, that was just a check.
Right.
I'm watching that movie. I watched Black Panther, and it's like he got beat. He just got beat, and by their rules, that should have been it. He didn't even follow his own country's rules,
Right.
And Killmonger, and it's funny because what Disney will do, they'll write a villain, and a well-written villain is compelling, and then they'll go, Oops, we've made him too compelling.
Mm-hmm.
Oops, all quality. I'm sorry, there's always a moment when I cut away the sketch to see what's there. And if I've done it right, it hits me kind of like a sledgehammer. Like, oh, wow, I drew
Yeah, no,
that?
she looks great.
But the the villain has to be compelling, or it wouldn't make sense for anyone to follow him.
Right.
Because there's so many villains that you see where it's like, why are these henchmen so loyal?
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, there are some things you have to be careful not to aggrandize, because I do believe that evil is very contagious.
Definitely, but I feel like that's almost one of the things that stories can help with, is sort of showing that off. Because I know
Oh,
I wrote a
yes,
paper that got me in trouble in college because they asked how to keep the monstrosities of World War II from happening again. Like, that was the prompt, right?
right.
We were supposed to address that, and I said, well, first, I think it's, you have to acknowledge that the people involved weren't monsters; they were just normal people who did monstrous things, and how that happens. They
No,
didn't like that take, but it is what
well,
it is.
see, in when you talk, if we're talking World War II and we're talking, the Nazis and all, the Nazi government forces were horrific, but when I think about it, they're not the ones that scared me. The ones that scared me were the good, quote unquote, German people who just followed the law.
Exactly. It's like, this
Yeah,
wasn't, some mustache twirling villain, or, three-headed monstrosity. This was the lady down the corner who sells hats, like.
and what that tells you is that's evil is a human trait.
Right.
Monsters, in part, let us try to exercise the evil from us. I think in
Hmm.
stories, but they it's a little too easy to just go, "Oh, the monsters did it," And there, I have met people who were truly evil. I have known individuals that were monstrous, but people who are monstrous of that level, at best, have a type of mental illness. You know what I mean? If we're being as generous as we can, it's a mental illness that you really can't change from the outside without, lots and lots of therapy and things like that.
Right.
The vast majority of the time. Now, I mean, if we were to talk supernatural elements, I'd be more than happy to. But this isn't the real. I don't think that's where this goes right now, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But the vast, also because that's too easy. It's just too easy to say, oh, so and so wasn't really evil. He was just possessed. And there are cases and such, but I think the responsibility falls a mix on the person who does stuff, but the community. Did they support them? Did they help people? Some will always go that route. You can't all stop it. But there's a saying, and it's an African saying, I believe. Uh, if you don't, what is it? If you don't give love to a member of the village, they'll burn the whole village down for warmth. You know,
Right.
and that's what I think. Whoops, that's what happens the majority of the time with people, where the system. A lot of our systems are predatory. A lot of our systems don't help people, and when people don't have the help they need, they turn to whatever they can get, and they're There's a Native American saying that says "coyote waits," and what that means is evil. You don't have to look for evil to find you; it's waiting for you.
Right.
And understanding that accepting that it exists in everyone to some degree, and owning that uh, is reality. And it makes, if you can do that in your writing, you end up with complex characters.
Yeah. Well, and I think not even just to some degree. I think that's kind of where I sort of break away from maybe some of the older romantic kind of stuff, is that to me it's like, being a hero is something truly exceptional. Like, I don't think that evil is a dramatic thing. Like, I think that that's just what most normal people fall into if they're put in a bad situation. And so it's like, to me, then, why we relate to villains so much right now is because we want things to be easy. And if you take the easy road, it's almost always going to be a bad one. And so heroes being this very, exceptional thing, like maybe you have every excuse to be evil. So then that makes choosing to be good something,
Oh yes, I fully agree. I you know it's funny. I spent my life around a lot of combat veterans. Okay, real. My dad was in Vietnam. Real, they've done stuff. Combat veterans, and I find them more comfortable. The people who are deadly, I find their company more comfortable than people who are dangerous. If that makes sense.
yeah.
I like that. I don't think I like that. I'm gonna undo that. Yeah. Let's see. Joe says, Lamau, Killmonger was right about how vicious the world is. He was wrong on the method to resolve it. I agree. Disney won't let villains be compelling and antagonistic. People forget that Germany was almost bankrupt prior to the change in Nazi thinking. Good people got caught up in the change of the economy and life as a nation as opposed to the ideas behind the change. What happens is when people in large numbers suffer for, uh, for means that they can't uh, control, things that weren't their fault, they become susceptible to a charismatic. And I believe charismatics change. They can convince people. They can. It's almost magical. They can roll people. It's like I was in a sociology class. Okay, psychology. I mean, there wasn't social. Oh, I think one of them doesn't matter because I had the same professors for both. So they're very intimately connected in my mind. And they were playing. He turned on one of Adolf Hitler's speeches, and he just let it run because he was talking about it. And I got up and I walked out of the room. Didn't say a word. I got up and walked out of the room. And he said he came out. He said, "No, I didn't. You didn't say you needed a trigger warning. You should be able to face things you don't like or don't understand." I said, "Please, you misunderstand what's going on. I don't speak German. I know little pinches of phrases. But listening to that speech, I was getting angry. And if you look in there, a bunch of the people are getting angry. I was getting angry, and I was getting angry at someone. I had no idea who I was angry at. But the power of that speech was so dangerous, it made me angry. And I told him, when I'm exposed to something that evil, I leave. If I feel my emotions being pulled towards something, that I am not, aiming at, I leave. And I have seen two or three politicians in my life on both sides of the aisle be able to some extent to do that to people. And every
Yeah.
time they do, things go wrong. Uh, and I try not to get political, well, too political on any of my programs, and especially this one, because this is supposed to be the chill art. But
No.
no, but on the subject of evil, it exists, and it's so easy to get rolled that you have to pay attention. Now, once I realize what's going on, it's like I'm out. I don't really want to play around.
Right.
But
And I
the
think
other
it's
thing,
good to stay a little bit, regardless of political party. I think it's good to stay a little bit suspicious of people that have that kind of sway over others.
oh yes,
So, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
yeah, that's my problem. Even if I would innately agree with them in text, I don't want to get emotionally rolled because I've seen things scare me. Mobs scare me. Large groups of people who have lost their individuality can scare me. And when faced with that, it's good to know who can do it. But it's like knowing that there's a very big, very angry dog in your neighborhood. You know?
Right.
It's also how I approach, like, hauntings and things for the most part. I want to know if there's a large dog in the neighborhood. Oh, there's a large dog over there, and he's angry, and if you go over there, he's going to try and bite you. Cool. I'm going to not go over there for any reason because I don't want to get bit by a large dog. These are some of the best hands I've ever drawn. I know they're a little large for the scale, but I'm not messing with it because they're literally some of the best hands I've ever drawn.
Yeah. Well, no, and I mean, she's got the ears that do know that she's not entirely human. So I think,
Yeah,
you can say her species just has larger hands.
and I do tend to draw a certain, like, I had to fight it for years. I used to draw people with gigantic feet. Like, seriously, if you go through my older art, you'll see some folks with like just huge feet. But yeah, I'm going to do this. This is going to be good. Let me. Ooh, I need a layer. I need a layer behind her, and I need a shape. Let me see, how thick is it? Will you wake up, please? That looks reasonable. 8 looks reasonable, so I want to do. No, I don't want to do edit. I just want to put this away for a second. Thank you. Something like this. Oh no, that's not quite right. Can I move it? Nope, I gotta redo it. That's fine. Yeah, that'll do good. Now I just take my eraser. We'll do that. I just want to see if I like this. I may take this away. I like to play with framing.
Yeah. No, for sure. I always really like that too. I don't know why I haven't tried to do it more when people just like throw a geometrical shape in the background. It looks great. Like, I love it when it's done well.
I don't know why I love it so much, but I do it a lot. I do a lot of like just this black square kind of thing because now I wonder. Well, when you wonder something, what do you wonder, Wonder Cat? First, I'm going to come over here, make that visible. Gosh, that's so neat. Okay. Get rid of the sketch layer. because I don't need to see that. Now I'm going to come here because I think I'm happy with this. I'm going to merge this down. Now we'll see if I've been a good artist or a bad artist.
No.
And not morally, but have I closed my lines like I'm supposed to? I probably haven't. But
I always I want to play more with not closing lines, because I see stuff that'll do that, right? Where especially if it's in high, really well lit, they'll just leave the line out there entirely and it looks so good. But then also I think of coloring it and I'm like, that makes coloring so much more obnoxious.
I messed up. Oh, that's funny. I caught a mistake.
Oh.
I caught a mistake. And it wasn't the mistake I thought I made. Give me a second. I need to get the layers to slip back apart. One more. Thank you. Right here. No, oh, yes. Well, get on the right layer. Don't yell at me. That's not the right layer. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna. And I found out that I did not close up these lines. This is also a great way, even if you're not flooding it. Oh, wrong color. Go back to black. I need to go back to black. But it's interesting to see what what people define as a villain tells you a lot about the person.
Yeah.
For example, and it's a sociological phenomenon, but since I'm here, I can force myself to clean up my work. Allegedly, and feel free to disagree, but allegedly, conservatives are more afraid of vampires, and liberals are more afraid of zombies.
Interesting.
Well, no, what it is culturally, especially the modern depiction, zombie movies happen when people are worried about being forced into being something you're not as a large group. So,
right. I was going to say, yeah, to me, zombies are way scarier. So I guess it holds up in my case anyway.
Yeah, well, zombies came out when people were scared of the communists.
Mm.
And they're, it's the idea of being forced into, and that was the slow, lumbering, unstoppable approach. But when consumerism began to be something people were more scared of, the zombies became faster, and they start. That's where the mall genre of zombie movie comes from, because that's the epitome of what a of rash consumerism was. These huge shopping malls with all this expense.
Yeah.
But the Republican mentality, well, the conservative, tends to be more afraid of perversity in the individual, by their definition. So you have the fear of vampires, especially when you look at lost her name for a second, Anne Rice. Interview with the Vampire.
Right.
That was, vampires have always, I mean, at least since Dracula, been highly sexually charged creatures. It's a very intimate thing. But vampires tend to become much more bisexual. They become more hedonistic. So you get turned into one of them that way. And it became a metaphor for homosexuality, especially, and then bisexuality and everything else, as the world started acknowledging the complexity of such things. So
yeah, no, I mean, I guess, like I said, I guess it kind of stands up in my case, because I do consider myself relatively liberal, and yeah, none of the things that were listed about vampires is particularly frightening.
well,
But-
yeah, comparatively, no, and
it is interesting to think about, though.
yeah,
How
and
did they? Was this just like an internet poll kind of a thing, or like?
oh no, this is something was discussed in like high level psychology studies, sociology studies. This is when you look, we are all most of the people in my chat. Oh, let me check real quick. Speaking of, boom, boom. A court of public opinion have too much power. It's never objective. Absolutely. But a lot of people in my chat are creators. We're all very creative individuals. And that makes us very protective of our right to create, I think. And it makes for interesting conversations. Because, there will always be forces that want to forcibly convert us to something. I am way pleased with this.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
Really rare for me to be like, I like this.
Well, that's how you felt about the last one too. So there you go, 2 in a row.
I know it's just this. You are one of those people who brings out a very positive energy.
Oh, thank you.
And I really appreciate it because I don't, there's so much harsh negativity. So much of the time, I kind of have to, I have to oppose it. I have to work at it.
Right.
Writing works better when you use a color that's actually visible and you don't try to erase your. I'm gonna be a little smarter. I'm gonna crop inside here. Normally, I would be more subtle about my name placement, but given the amount of scrubbing and weirdness with art lately, I am prone to just make it a slightly bit more integrated.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get in the habit of signing stuff in general. I pretty much never have, so.
Oh, well, that's when you want to pick up. I love this one. I'm happy about this one. Export single, and I'm going to change the name. I'm going to change the name to. I'm going to pull email on this one. Because this just hit like a sledgehammer, and I'm okay with that. This has the pain of a creature that's immortal, but has to deal with becoming attached to us mortal types.
Right. See, and that to me, like, if there was going to be something about the concept of vampires, it would, like, it's the immortality more than anything.
Oh yeah, the loneliness.
Right. Which, I mean, she's dealt with that a lot in Interview with a Vampire too, from what I remember. Because it's been a while, but.
Oh yes. Well, that's like the core.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's like. I remember thinking that the little girl character in particular was very tragic.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, oh god, man! If I keep this up, I'm gonna put on the Phantom of the Opera soundtrack and just drop
Hey,
Turn
that
down
is,
the lights, you know?
yeah, that's
Like,
that's a good one to set vibes with for sure.
that's awesome. You hit okay. So about the uh, this is sorry, bro. Time. Almost.
Man, exporting time lapses. I guess it takes a lot of
Yep.
computer energy or whatever resource that would be.
I don't have. I need to put more RAM in my computer.
Mm.
But it's an all-in-one. I've never messed with that. Although, apparently my son loves my time lapse collection. Just sit and watch the picture because we watch it on the big TV, and just watch the picture draw itself. He really digs it. But
yeah, no, I mean they're really relaxing. So.
Yeah, thank you. I can either stop or I can draw one more. It's up to folks. And we've kept it looks like the same numbers of people watching. And yeah, when I do my RPG, this is definitely going in the book because I want to do like a bardic archer where she plays her bow musically to do magic.
That's really cool.
And then it's still a bow that can shoot things. But,
yeah, that's a really cool concept. I like that a lot.
And it literally just came from what am I doing with her hands? I'm gonna have so much fun because I'm going to completely instead of it being one elf or two elf types, there's going to be a whole bunch of different elves, and I'm going to split it by courts, kind of like the Seelie Unseelie.
Right.
And, a lot of the monsters are going to get pulled back into the Fae because, I consider goblins Fae. A lot of people don't. But, and then I'm going to have 2 or 3 classes of goblin. So, yeah, you know what? Hold on. If there's one thing I've learned, it's, tell, don't show. Show, don't tell. So let's do this. I've saved this, I've exported it, and it's not an
I am probably gonna have to get going here pretty soon, though. Gotta get lunch.
Yeah. So, do you want me just to call it, and I'll do some more later because my wife will be home in about 5 minutes. I was just going to possibly do a speed challenge. But if you need to go, Blue, it has been an absolute pleasure having you on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I may just regularly, whenever I'm doing the show, because it's not always nailed down, just shoot you the link if you ever want to come back in and chat.
Okay.
If that's something you like, because it's nice. This is my show where usually I have to talk to myself and see the chat more than others. So thank you. And you know what, guys? I think Blue's made a good point. I may just call it here because I still have to do all the uploading and video stuff with all the thumbnails I've made. So there's always at least a half hour to an hour after I'm done with this program where I put everything to work to get my week laid out. So people can find you at BlueTeddyNarrations on YouTube and at BlueTeddyScribbles on
Instagram. And then it should also be Blue Teddy Narrations on Twitter. And Smoke and Mirrors is the comic on Tapas.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much. My stuff, all my links are at nicholastucker.com. I know the site looks like it was made in 2012. I'm also learning how to do the Wix site building because, I need more balls to be juggling in the air. You can find my art primarily on DeviantArt /Nick T. I'm on Instagram under NickT_artist. And I am streaming way too much. I stream for Nevermind the Furthermore, where we support artists and authors and game designers and other creatives every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. I am co-host of Nerd Bacon on Luke Stone Studios at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. That usually runs for about 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours. And on Friday nights, I host the Historical Fencing Guild, where we talk about sword fighting and shenanigans. If you'd been there last week, you have seen me beat the tar out of a chair. Other than that, guys, please keep drawing. If any of you who are watching this, want to send me a image and you want to set up to have a critique episode, kind of like we did with Blue Teddy, and the recorded one I did for Jody McPhee, let me know. I'm all about helping people art, and if you have requests or things you'd like to see drawn, hop in the chat, share this around, please. Like this, because I'm just trying to get my stuff out there. And have an absolutely wonderful day. Is there anything else you want to share, Blue?
Nope, I think that's all. Just thank you again for having me.
Been an absolute pleasure. All right, folks. See you next week. Toodles.